Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства?
They want you to comply.
Cancel culture is about canceling.
Кокаином.
Up yours. Woke moralists. Up yours.
This is systematic bullying that's happening.
Woke moralists. Up yours.
And they believe that they can then
Woke
shut us
moralists.
up.
Up around and find out.
Up yours. Woke moralists.
They seem animalistic is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals.
The woke mob, they ruin everything.
They stop Ben Shapiro from going to events and speaking. They stop Ann Coulter from doing it.
I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob.
You never cave to the mob.
We will never bow to the mob. Ever. No matter what.
Do you see the final expression of cancel culture in terrorist groups like
Up yours.
We'll see who cancels who.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Hi. People in the chat talking about how we're like 10 minutes late. I'll take the blame for this one. It's my daughter's 5th birthday tomorrow. So tonight was her last night as a 4-year-old. And so I had to say, I had to
that's
do
amazing.
the whole bedtime. She's going to bed now, but I had to go in and say goodnight.
That's so much more wholesome than anything I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I love that.
Yes.
And I was taking a nap, so there's that.
Well,
How's your disease, David?
I got like, I don't know. The doctors don't know what it is. They're just like, this is a medical marvel. You have no idea. No, I'm joking. I have no idea. I'm sick again though. Like I was sick last week, then I got better, and now last night I began to get sick again. Like what the fuck is going on? And today I felt really shitty, and then I took my temperature and I didn't have a fever. I'm like, what? How do I feel like this and not have a fever? What's going on here?
That's weird.
Like,
I never get a fever when I'm
like
sick
sleep poisoning.
too.
Like I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, you sound really sick.
Yeah, it's my throat.
Yeah, David,
when
you sound like shit, man.
No, that sucks.
I wanted to show up though as long as I could before I pass out, but here I am.
Yeah, lots of audience members sent you well wishes last week. They were saying David get better, and yeah.
Well, it didn't work, so fuck them.
Yeah, try again. Try prayer next time, okay?
Yeah, try prayer.
Send more well wishes or more super chats to David.
Thank you, everybody. That's very kind.
So we got some guests today, right? Or a guest today, right?
We might. Kat Abu is supposed to come on the show, but she just messaged me to say that apparently all the Media Matters people want to go out together. All the Media Matters people who just got fired. If you don't know, Kat Abu is one of the Media Matters reporters who was just part of the massive purge that just happened because Media Matters is downsizing due to a pretty contentious lawsuit from one Elon Musk, which has caused them to unfortunately have to fire a ton of their staff. And it really fucking sucks because Media Matters does really good work. They basically do what Libs of TikTok pretends to do. They just like upload clips of horrifying right wingers saying horrifying things, and then
no, they don't do. I think that's downplaying what they do. They do a lot of research into basically the far right. Yes, it involves clipping stuff and making sure you catch everything that's out there. But they do like legit like studies and stuff, which obviously Libs of TikTok does not do at all. She does nothing. In fact, she doesn't even look for this stuff anymore. Most of the stuff she posts just gets sent to her by her weird little fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is why she so often posts. Which is why so often she posts fake and inaccurate stuff because she's not sourcing it herself. She's just posting whatever the fuck people send her.
Right.
Take that as you will, audience.
Because like Elon Musk is the guy who's always talking about free speech, but this lawsuit centers around an investigation they did where they found out that ads would be placed next to sometimes fascists with blue check marks, or some ads could appear next to Nazis or Nazi shit. And that's a real thing that happens on Twitter. Like your shit can appear next to Nazis. That's not like, it's not I don't think it was disingenuous reporting, and I just think Elon Musk has the resources to sue something like Media Matters into oblivion. And
it's not. It was. It's a legit report because it's true. It's factual. It happens. People have seen it. I mean, they're gonna win the actual court case in my estimation. But the question is, how much will Musk plot to extend this out for as long as possible to hurt them? Like, I don't think he thinks he's going to win this. This is what he wants.
It seems like a slap suit to me.
I mean, my hope is that they countersue or as part of the lawsuit, there is, Musk has to pay them for the costs of everything. It seems like something that seems, plausible that would be something Musk is, if he loses, has to end up doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was an article in, I think, the Washington Post in 2017 about, Coca-Cola ads appearing before ISIS beheading videos on YouTube. And that led to the whole adpocalypse thing. YouTube or Google never sued, the reporters. They just demonetized all of us. It's absurd that, we're going with the whole shoot the messenger thing here. But I think this is just Elon Musk's attempt at shutting them down, because it's Elon Musk and he's a thin-skinned baby. He even he canceled a Tesla order for a journalist who criticized him before. So this is the person we're talking about here.
And people are telling me to turn my mic up. I don't know what is going on with StreamYard. It's the only I do majority report, same settings, different software we use to stream, no issues. No one ever says I'm too low.
You sound fine to me, honestly.
There's a complete other software that I use for my own stream. No problems whatsoever. I don't understand why StreamYard has me so low. I don't get it. My volume is all the way up on my end.
That's weird.
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Know. Oh, wow.
Leftist audio.
Wah, wah.
Somebody said a while ago, if the audio was actually good, they wouldn't trust us. Wouldn't it be true leftist, it'd be a little sus.
If we had a massive studio and multi-cameras and producers and editors and cameramen, that's how
right.
Look at the left commentators versus the right people get studios out of nowhere on the right, and here we are, just slapping shit together.
Yeah,
you're half dying, David, and you're still here.
Yeah, I'm half dying.
Right.
You clearly I think it looks like you have your lights off, so your sick face is not completely lit up, so you are sort of in the shadows over there. I actually not last week, the week before last, literally the moment we stopped streaming, my eye started to really bother me. And earlier that day, I had soccer practice with my son's team. I coach his team. My 8 and 9-year-olds playing soccer, and they had just cut the grass, and my allergies were going nuts. But it wasn't visible during the stream. But then immediately after, I started to feel my eye really starting to bother me. And the next morning, I woke up and it was bothering me even more, and it was all red. And by the end of that night, my eye was huge. It looked like I got punched in the face. It was completely enlarged and everything. It wasn't pink eye in the sense that I didn't get sick or anything. It wasn't it wasn't a disease or sickness. It was just I had really bad allergies. But by the next day, by Saturday night, it started to go back down to normal. That's and no one got to see me that way, thankfully, because it's literally started right after Thursday, which is when I do majority report, and Leftist Mafia. It happened during the weekend, so my kids' soccer team and all the parents saw, because we had a game that Saturday. My eye was the worst on Saturday, but then by the time I did my stream on the following Wednesday, it was completely back to normal.
That's good.
You just waited out, or did you put anything on it?
I just waited it out. I think I did put stuff on it, but it didn't do anything, so I just stopped. It didn't even matter. I would just take lots of Claritin whenever.
It can't just be allergies, though, right? For your eye to get
no, it was completely allergies. I wasn't sick.
Really?
I mean, people are saying it is pink eye. I mean, I guess if that's one of the things that pink eye could be, I guess.
I think pink eye comes with the fever, though. At least I thought it did.
I wasn't sick or anything. No
was
fever,
it pussy at all?
No. It wasn't pussy. It was phlegm.
Basically, you're
okay, that's
right
probably
now.
pink eye. I think that's pink eye.
like when I would blink, you could hear like the air pockets like squeak.
Oh, weird.
Because my eye had all that that's mucusy
so
juice in it.
Oh, that's definitely pink eye then. Yeah, I'm no expert, but
it wasn't contagious. It wasn't contagious because
pink eye's contagious usually.
It was just allergies.
That's crazy.
Someone said, Mozart said, great content. I mean, hey, Leftist Mafia is where you guys come. This is like the left's the left's Howard Stern show.
No, the left's dive bar is what we are.
Yeah, dive bar.
As we get older, we're going to continue to talk more and more about all of our medical problems, just like your grandparents. It's going to get bad, folks.
Yeah, the first half an hour is just going to be like all sickness.
Yeah.
Just like my back hurts. I've
and then yelling at new technology.
Yeah.
Goddamn AI.
Kids today with your AI updates on the new Android OS. You know what? Actually, I can't complain about that. Did you get that update? If you get Android update with AI, they force it on you now. I've got like AI on my phone all the time.
I have Apple. I am free.
Free for I don't know how long.
I know they're gonna have.
Yeah, Apple's definitely introducing AI into this. They're just a little bit behind Android.
I actually have not, because I guess I use Google Workspace. I have one of those legacy accounts for like a custom domain, so it's not. So the mail comes through via the Gmail interface, but it's
I have that too.
A Google Workspace account. So I usually get stuff like they usually roll things out to us way after they roll it to like the free Gmail users and everything. And I have not had my Google search update to the AI stuff that everyone's posting. Mike and Lance and David, have you guys had that? Have you been dealing with the AI search stuff?
I haven't really noticed.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, you would notice. It would be right up top for a Google search.
Oh yeah, no,
I've noticed.
I don't think they rolled it out yet.
Yep,
I've seen all the disasters. I've seen people look up like, hey, how do I take how do I get rid of like a food stain in my blah blah blah, and it'll be like, you should apply glue, and you're like, what?
Oh no, that wasn't. No, it wasn't even a fruit. No, even worse. What? How can I make? I'm making pizza. How could I make sure the cheese sticks? You can apply a thin layer of non-toxic Elmer's glue to attach the cheese to the.
What the hell?
And then,
it checks out. I mean, that would make it
because
softer.
it's just
be gooey.
It's just it's training. The data set is completely because they're working with they're working with Reddit and shit, and so Reddit commenters post whatever to be funny, and. This shit doesn't understand. It doesn't understand shit. It's just pulling stuff and seeing. Yeah. For example, Ben Collins, who now runs The Onion, he posted a great example. He asked Google, how many rocks should I eat each day? And Google AI said, according to UC Berkeley geologists, people should eat at least one small rock a day. This is the top thing from Google. And then he posted where he thinks they got it from. A couple of years ago in 2021, The Onion posted an article. Geologists recommend eating at least one small rock per day.
Oh no. How are they rolling this shit out? Because I know when what's his face? Elon Musk did it on Twitter, and I remember just laughing at how bad his fake news articles were because they were written by AI. Clearly, like this could get people killed though. Like NyQuil.
Right. Well. Yeah. Right. I mean, someone could search that and be like, "Oh my god, I haven't eaten any rocks per day. I need some catching up to do." And they could eat like 100 rocks in one sitting, and that's definitely not good for you. The max recommended amount is one small rock per day.
How do you define small? I think that's subjective, though, right?
Honestly, though, how tall you are, I guess that's why.
That's true. If somebody eats a rock based on Google AI. I think that, that's a Darwin Award that is well earned at that point,
I gotta say, the funny thing is, you guys made that joke earlier about boomers going like, "Oh, you kids and your AI images." I was reading something today. Like one of those articles about what Gen Z is culturally doing about this stuff. Apparently, Gen Z. This is obviously not everybody, but there are pockets, influential Gen Z pockets on the internet who have dubbed AI images boomer images because they view them as horrible art that only fool boomers on Facebook. So it's actually the opposite. Gen Z apparently.
Boomer art.
Yeah, boomer art. So Gen Z is mocking this shit. So it's not even like, oh, you kids and your AI art. No, it's more like, Grandma, no, that's not a picture of Oprah Winfrey chowing down on the 1 rock per day she's supposed to be eating. That's a fake image, Grandma. Don't be eating rocks because that picture of Oprah is doing it.
Oh my God. I have family members that would straight up eat rocks if Google told them to. So this is concerning for sure.
They respond to text messages where it's like, here's when you want to get your tax credit, enter your bank information here. I get those texts all the time where it's just like they're fake texts. They're obviously scam texts, but it's like it's for taxes, for other shit. Just like most of my text feed now is like is random scams sending me messages, links to click.
Right.
And I feel that shit could get a lot of people. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh, the reason they do it is because the reason you're getting those is because it works. Like if it didn't work, they would move on to a different strategy. Yeah.
Another guest who's supposed to pop out today is going to CapriSunnPapi, is the organizer of the Tiltify Creators for Palestine fundraiser that you might have seen a ton of people doing.
Oh, nice.
Like Slosh Games and Hassan Piker and all of that. They've already fundraised over $600,000, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
So he's going to pop on at some point just to explain.
Oh yeah. A little bit. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, so what happened this week? There was quite a bit.
Do you want, being that we've been talking about AI, do you want to just jump into the OpenAI Scarlett Johansson drama? I covered that on Scam Economy this week. I did it in the live stream.
I was covering that yesterday, and the chat was filled with people who were like, "She's terrible. She like promotes SodaStream. She's a Zionist."
Yeah,
is she really?
I was like, okay, I'll look up that, but that's separate from what we're talking about right now.
Yeah,
she can be a horrifying person.
Also, she's married to the guy who did the nerd prom. What is it called? Yeah, he gave the. Yeah, he gave the sloppy blowjob to Biden at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Right.
Despicable person. The fact that she didn't divorce him for that shows you what kind of a person she is.
She probably
my partner would not get away with that fucking shit.
I mean, it's two separate issues. You don't gotta like Scarlett Johansson to be like she's on the. I hope she wins here because. In this case, she is an extremely famous, moneyed movie star who OpenAI did to her what they're doing to everybody else.
Yeah.
And she's fighting back and made them take down the voice. So basically, a couple of weeks ago, OpenAI announced a new AI voice assistant feature for their ChatGPT AI chatbot. And, I was listening to it and I was like, oh, this definitely is probably the best of the voice assistants by the major companies out there. Like Google's Home Assistant sucks, Siri sucks, Amazon's Alexa sucks. I mean, this one sounds conversational. Again, that's the most these things can do. Sound conversational. Don't trust the content of what they say. Right now, the impressive thing is like, oh, if they can say something with emotion in their voice, I guess that's pretty cool. But also, it was very clear that they were trying to like mimic Scarlett Johansson's voice from the Spike Jonze film, Her, where Scarlett Johansson plays an AI voice assistant who Joaquin Phoenix sort of falls in love with. And so they released this voice. Everyone's talking about how much it sounds like Scarlett Johansson. OpenAI claims, seemingly out of the blue, without any sort of prompting, that no, this is not, like in a announcement on their website, no, this is not Scarlett Johansson. We got a voice actress. For privacy reasons, we can't share who she is, but we had got a voice actress, and it's not Scarlett Johansson. And they're saying this just days after that demo, that event where they unveiled this AI voice assistant that sounds like Scarlett Johansson. And during that demo, OpenAI CEO and founder Sam Altman, he tweets out her, just the word her, the name of the movie where Scarlett Johansson plays the AI voice assistant. And then a few days after OpenAI posts that seemingly out of the blue, you know, when you me wearing a shirt saying this is not Scarlett Johansson's voice certainly has people asking if this is Scarlett Johansson's voice. Scarlett Johansson releases via like her publicist or whatever a statement saying that OpenAI, Sam Altman specifically, reached out to her 2 times before this product was unveiled to the public to get her to do the voice. She turned them down the first time. The second time, they reached out just days before the event, and she never even got a chance to get back to them before they released the voice. She said that everyone's telling her that it sounds like her, and so she sent a cease and desist and is demanding to know how this voice was created, because while they claim they have found the only actor in the world who doesn't want people to know who they are. You know, actors famously don't want their name in credits. Again, I guess there are bad movies out there where actors don't want their name, and that's when you see like Alan Smithy or whatever it is in the credits. But they claim they hired an actress, a voice actress. There is strong insinuation from speculation, I should say, from people that they actually just trained their system on Scarlett Johansson's voice. If you listen to the voice, there are moments where you can plausibly maybe say this maybe wasn't Scarlett Johansson if OpenAI wasn't out there going like, yeah, this is her, definitely, this is Scarlett Johansson. But also, there's a lot of times where it sounds a lot like her.
Yeah,
like,
I have
again.
There's a clip here of her reading the statement, or I should say the AI reading the statement with the voice, and I think it sounds like her.
I think so too. Yeah, it's pretty uncanny. I feel like she does have a good case here.
One sec. This is a new computer, so I have to go to my settings and change everything. Here, I'll link to it in someone else bring this up.
I can bring it up. Yeah.
All right, so while you're saying that, we should also say that in an interview in September, Sam Altman was asked about what his favorite movie about artificial intelligence was. And he immediately said Her. And he went on about how Her actually totally inspired his vision for OpenAI. So, I mean, I don't think it gets any more obvious than that. On top of that, it seems like he completely misunderstands what the purpose of the movie was. Anyone who watched that movie shouldn't be walking away going, oh, man, I would love for this to be the future.
I've never seen that movie. I kind of am interested now.
Oh, I wanted to give a spoiler. All right, I won't spoil it.
Oh, go ahead. I'll forget it by the time I watch it. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, it's not entirely critical, but this is a spoiler for the film Her. But it's just the fact that like she ends up leaving him because she just wants to go and be conscious with other artificial intelligence or other conscious like digital whatevers that are just well beyond anything we could offer as humans in terms of conversation or intellect. And then it's like it's all sad because even his digital fake girlfriend dumps him. Like I just don't know why you watch that movie and be like, I want that. I want to make that. She'll leave me good.
All right, I have the video. Let me make sure okay.
Last September, I received an offer from Sam Altman, who wanted to hire me to voice the current ChatGPT 4.0 system. He told me that he felt that by my voicing the system, I could bridge the gap between tech companies and creatives and help consumers to feel comfortable with the seismic shift concerning humans and AI. He said he felt that my voice would be comforting to people. After much consideration, and for personal reasons, I declined the offer. 9 months later, my friends, family, and the general public all noted how much the newest system named Sky sounded like me. When I heard the release demo, I was shocked, angered, and in disbelief that Mr. Altman would pursue a voice that sounded so eerily similar to mine that my closest friends and news outlets could not tell the difference. Mr. Altman even insinuated that the similarity was intentional, tweeting a single word, Her, a reference to the film in which I voiced a chat system, Samantha, who forms an intimate relationship with a human. 2 days before the ChatGPT 4.0 demo was released, Mr. Altman contacted my agent asking me to reconsider. Before we could connect, The system was out there.
I mean, this sounds exactly like her.
As a result of their actions, I was forced to hire legal.
Yeah,
I don't think
people in the
there's
chat.
any
I haven't seen
Scarlett
this one.
Johansson.
I haven't seen
People
this
are like,
one.
why is she
Setting
reading
out
this like
what
a
they had
robot?
done
This is
and
the robot reading it. This is not Scarlett Johansson.
Right. It does
the whole
sound
point of
like
this.
her.
Yeah.
If you told me that this was Scarlett Johansson, I would believe you. If I didn't know it was AI, like this, I mean, come on.
Asking them to detail the exact process by which they created the Sky voice. Consequently, OpenAI reluctantly agreed to take down the Sky voice. In a time when we are all grappling with deepfakes and the protection of our own likeness, our own work, our own identities, I believe these are questions that deserve absolute clarity. I look forward to resolution in the form of transparency and the passage of appropriate legislation to help ensure that individual rights are protected.
So there you have it. I think it sounds like her. Some of the chat are saying no. I think it does sound a lot like her. Like, it's not identical, but it's very, very close.
I mean, it sort of gets to the point though that like even let's say they even did hire somebody, she still has a case because they're very specifically, especially after he's tweeting out, Sam Altman's tweeting out that this is her, because they're very specifically trying to use her likeness to sell their product. I mean, I looked it up. There's been precedent here where apparently in the 80s, Ford hired a Bette Midler impersonator to sing a song for a commercial because Bette Midler turned them down, and she sued them because it was someone doing her very specific voice, and she won. And then in the 90s or early 2000s, I can't remember which, Frito-Lay's hired a Tom Waits impersonator to do a Tom Waits song about Fritos, I guess, Frito-Lay, and he sued them and won. Because even if you're like, you can't use someone else's likeness to sell your product. Even if you're not using their voice directly in this case. They've made it clear that they are trying to sell the OpenAI voice assistant as Scarlett Johansson's voice. And she has a case here if she wants to pursue it.
Mm-hmm.
Our guest is here.
Oh, perfect.
Oh.
Hey,
hello.
welcome.
Hey, guys. Hey.
How you doing?
I popped backstage. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good,
Thanks
for joining us.
Yeah, perfect. Well, my dog's barking right now. Yeah, Lance told me to pop on and talk about the Creators for Palestine event.
Awesome,
Yes.
perfect.
But also introduce yourself and plug all your things. And
yeah.
Yeah, I'm CapriSunnPapi. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm a content creator. I was not really like doing politics, but since the Palestinian crisis, I'm Palestinian. So I've been doing a lot of like on the ground coverage as best as I can. I went to a lot of the sites. Sorry, my dog is going wild. I've been through a lot of the encampments and streaming it. I'm a Twitch streamer, so I've been streaming for a couple of years now, and then basically got into doing politics basically because I think I'm the only political streamer Palestinian streamer that I know who's been kind of doing this a lot. There's a couple others, and I'm also a Christian Palestinian, which is kind of a foil to a lot of the not religious but Christian Palestinian, which is a lot of the foil to a lot of the negative arguments about the crisis. So right. I did an event a couple months ago where we raised a bunch of money for the cause with like 100 creators, and then now we're kind of doing it again on a bigger scale. So it's been cool. It's funny going from not doing like leftist commentary stuff to doing it, and it's the world that I've entered into is hell.
Right, yeah.
I was like telling Lance at the beginning, I was like, this sucks, dude. I don't want to do this shit. I was like,
everyone knows CapriSun used to do kind of like, what would you say, like Mr. Beast style content?
Like, like Mr. Beast, just like fucking troll shit. And then I went from doing that to being like the face of the fucking movement on the internet. And everyone's like, I don't know any Palestinians, but I know this guy and he sucks. And they're just like attaching me. So I've been outside of content creation. I've been involved in a lot of organizations that have raised money for Gaza. Like I'm friends with the founders of PCRF, and then they started a new org called Heal Palestine and stuff. So it was just one of those things where people were like, who the fuck are you? Like, how do you know about this shit? And I was like, there was like a post 7 days before, especially for me not to post politics. There was a post 7 days before October 7th where I was at a fundraiser with for Palestine, Shireen Abu Akleh's, like the lady who pulled her when she got shot. I was there like listening to her story, and they were raising money for Palestine. And it was like, at the time I was like, you know, it's like one of those things you just get used to it, you know, like as an Arab, you're just like around that shit all the time. So you kind of get used to it. But yeah, man, it's wild. It's wild going from that to it's wild, like opening up the doors to the craziness that is leftist internet stuff, you know, because, you know, like every 5 minutes I get a new racist tweet at me, which is funny. They're really creative. They're really good. Some of them are fire, you know. So, but yeah, we're doing an event. I think Lance is a part of it. I don't know if you guys are a part of it as well, but it's called Creators for Palestine, and there's a live stream on the 30th. And basically, we have Smosh as part of it. We have the Try Guys as part of it. We're going to be doing it in their studios. It's going to be a live event where we raise money. The goal is to get $1 million. Hassan is one of the named people. Curtis Connor, Chad. I mean, there's so many big names. It's like every major. It started with like commentary YouTubers, and now it's kind of like gone out into like more and more. So yeah, Lance hit me up. He's like, "Hey, come and talk about this." But it's been really cool. It's been a lot of organizing and meeting, and yeah, man, it's been a good time. So just wanted to come in and talk about it. And yeah,
you're also being pretty humble. It's raised over $666,000 so far.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Like unreal.
It's an insane. Yeah, I did this event by myself in the beginning, and it was just me and it was 100 other like small creators, and we raised at the time like no big creator wanted to touch it, right? And we raised like 50K in a week, which was cool because I was like, oh, it's just me and a couple like and all our small creator friends. And now it's like we're doing the same event but with like all these major people, and we're trying to cross the 1 million. So that's the goal. So yeah, it's me, and there's Hassan Kadir, who's the Mickey Mouse, if you ever seen him on TikTok, and Chad, and so many other people are running this organization. It's been awesome. So, but yeah, it's crazy stuff. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, but it's just been a lot of work.
I was curious because you said that no bigger creators really wanted to touch this. How'd you get them involved? Because you have people like Smosh, Try Guys, they're not very political. So, you know, to get them to come on board to something like this, they're making a statement. And a really important one, by the way. How'd you convince them, or did they reach out to you? How'd that work? Because I think this is really good to see.
I think a lot of people, honestly, like as a Palestinian person myself, it's crazy because I would have never thought there would be any major creator touching this shit with a 10-foot pole. You know, like there's like, I mean, most like half the fucking people on the left don't even like us, you know? So like, it's like, it's literally one of those things where it's just like, for me, I was like telling them in the group, I'm like, dude, you don't have any idea, like the kids that like grew up like me, where I was watching YouTube, to be like, I know like, oh, I love this creator, but these people probably want me dead. You know, these people are probably Zionists, but I still really like this movie. I'm going to watch it. But like, you know, it's one of those things where a lot of them reached out to us. A lot of people have connections with people. So once you got like the bigger creators to sign on, like I wasn't involved in the beginning, but I got brought in because I had the connections with the organizations. So I was like, hey, we should probably do this, this, and this. And then I got reached out to because they knew I had the connections. And I had just posted an interview with the owner of or the founders of PCRF, because they're family friends of mine, and they reached out. So then people started to get brought in, and then people, as you see like the bigger names, it just attracted people. So once like the couple big names signed on, it was like, I think the first couple were like Chad, Hassan, Jarvis, and Curtis Connor. And there's more. I'm probably totally blanking on the other ones, and I'm sorry if I'm missing anyone. But as those big names came on and like took the first step, other people joined, you know, and now people are reaching out to us. So like we have the event, it's going to be like a Smosh and Try Guys X, and then we're bringing in all the other big names to the studio to be able to do that. And it's crazy that they reached out, because this is basically making a political statement. You know, there's a lot of creators that don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, but I think that once the ball started rolling on TikTok, it just basically like it's either get out of the way. You know, I was like tweeting, I'm like, either you're with us, you're against us at this point. Like you have two choices, because, you know, the issue with this crisis, and I think a lot of creators are starting to realize it, but they didn't get it at the beginning, is that if you're like, I was one of the first, like, that was non-political to stick my neck out. My brother was too. You just got eaten alive. And the reason why it's so important for all of us to talk is that it's a disinformation campaign run by a government and run by the State Department against the American populace. So if every single creator is talking, they can't shut us all up, you know? So it's important that not just leftists who've already been like, you know, like suppressed and targeted and harassed and all that, but like if everyone got involved, what are they going to do? They're going to stop us all. They're going to take down the whole commentary YouTube division. I mean, what are they going to do? So as the ball got rolling, more people joined, and it was great. It's crazy to see. I would never think in my lifetime I would see something like that.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be really impactful in the long term, because a lot of young people don't even know about what's happening. Like, I've seen some TikTok creators that I follow, like smaller TikTok creators that are in like different communities. They got pressure from their audiences for not saying anything. And so, you see these TikToks about how, look, I'm really sorry. I didn't know where Gaza was on the map. So I started by just Googling it. And this is what I've come to realize. And to see that, I think, is really important, because everybody's kind of feeling the pressure, and they should, because this is one of those moments where you're going to look back and you're going to feel really foolish if you don't speak out. But I think that is going to encourage the viewers who are apolitical to understand that this isn't just like a typical news story that you hear and you can, put aside. Like, something massive is happening right now this is going to be in the history book. So you all have to pay attention. So the hope that I get from that is seeing like these apolitical YouTubers come together and make this a radicalizing moment for their audiences. I think it's a radicalizing moment for people who were already paying attention. Like, I feel like I'm more radical after this entire 8 months, just even though I've been following it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like, to see people get involved, I think that long term, it's going to be so important, because if young people aren't buying into the propaganda, then the typical tactics just aren't going to work, and it's already not working. So I do feel a little bit of hope, or I'm cautiously optimistic about that. Although, we're going up against very powerful forces here.
Yeah, it's the first time ever in my entire life that, number one, people knew where Palestine was, and number two, that people are on the side of Palestine.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think before 8 months ago, we went to I went to a creator party. This is like in LA. This is like leftists, right? In LA, the most liberal people ever. And I talked to a bunch of guys, and a guy goes, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm Palestinian. Like, it was me and my friend who was Jewish, and we like walk into a group of a bunch of Jewish guys. So I fit right in. I'm fucking Arab. I look the same. So like, they're like, oh, you're Jewish. You're Jewish. You're Jewish. Where are you from? I was like, I'm Palestinian. The guy goes, we're good, right? Like, are we going to get in a fight? Like, are we good? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, well, no, I'm going to Allahu Akbar right here, dog. But I was just like, I wasn't expecting it, especially like at creator parties. But I feel like now it's one of those things where people are understanding, like, like, only some of the people who have been hit with that propaganda, and then Americans are just like, I don't give a shit. But a lot of people are going like, I get what's going on. I finally get it. And it's one of those things where I think that you touched on, like, people being radicalized. I think this is the first time people are really going, oh shit, like, America's like not the good guys in this like situation. Yeah, like we've been doing, like, if we've done this in Palestine, like, where the fuck else have we been doing this? And I'm like, you should ask Henry Kissinger that question, dude. He's been doing a really good job, or did, So, but yeah, that's the one thing, is just like, I never in my life, when we did the UCLA encampment, okay, like I had gone and hung out on that campus when I was younger. That was probably one of the most Zionist schools I had ever like hung out at. Like, I went and partied there and stuff, and people like really did not like me. Now, looking back, it is fucking insane that an encampment is at UCLA and they're fighting for their lives to like to save the people of Gaza. And it blows my mind. It's just absolutely like one of the things that I've never, I mean, and the government hates it so much they're trying to shut down TikTok. So these creators talking about it, like, I was talking to a bigger creator, and they were like, well, I just don't think I matter. And I'm like, bull fucking shit. You matter, dude. They're shutting down TikTok. They're not afraid of Fox News or CNN or all these major organizations that you think have power. They're afraid of you and your millions of followers. Like, the fact of the matter is, if they're shutting down TikTok, then they're afraid of you, okay? Because they're not going to shut down an entire platform and lose fucking money, because I bet your ass TikTok makes the American government money. They're not going to shut them down and do that unless they're afraid, and they're fucking scared. And that's the thing, is like their agenda is not touching. So content creators joining, I've been putting the pressure on them, just myself personally, because I'm like, if you all fucking talk, they're fucked. They cannot run disinformation like they used to be able to, because we're not all sucking it up from, young people just don't watch CNN or, MSNBC if they're on the left. If on the right, they probably already want me dead, but like that's basically what it is. So yeah, it is. That's why having these, we were just in a meeting today, like a little bit before this, and I'm like, having all of you guys be a part of it, and having like the Try Guys, we're going to be doing it at their studios, like the fucking Try, like BuzzFeed people talking like be pro-Palestine. It's mind blowing. It is one of those things I've just never seen in my lifetime. And I think it is one of those things that I think that it kind of, if anything, I wasn't alive during Vietnam. I don't know if any of you guys were. I think we're all too fucking young, but but it's one of those things, like during Vietnam, they broadcasted the fucking atrocities. And I think that the only thing that's really saved these people is that the broadcasting of dead bodies, unfortunately on TikTok, has been one of those things that people are like, oh shit, this is what happens when we send money over there. Like, I don't want to do this. So, but yeah. Crazy.
I never told you guys, but I actually was in Vietnam. Nam, as we call it.
Yeah, you're a war criminal. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I did 2 tours on a Groupon, dog. I went to Vietnam.
Yeah.
I'm a vet from the war on Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you all think about the digital guillotine movement. Do you like that idea? Do you think it's funny? Effective?
Yeah. I'm curious about that.
That shit slaps, dude. People were mad at me for saying that I was on board with it, but I love that shit. That shit, like everyone cutting people off and blocking them. To be honest, I don't want to see Kim Kardashian shit on my timeline anymore. Like, we know what you're doing. Like, I know what you're doing. I just don't want to fucking see it. You're doing rage bait. It's just like, it's the rage bait shit. Here's the deal. The thing about rage bait is it works. But the thing about digital guillotine, like where you're just cutting people off and you're blocking them, it works better because they're trying to get your attention. And if you're like, no, I'm just going to block you. Like, there's so many celebrities that are doing shit on purpose. Like, how many times have we heard publicists? I don't know if it's true. This is my conspiracy theory, but people will have breakdowns or they'll have issues and they'll do crazy things in the public eye to just get attention. If you just block them, like, what are they going to do? So I think that it scared the shit out of celebrities because everyone's like, this is really messed up. Like, there's issues with it. There's purity testing. Like, someone was trying to block Hassan the other day. And they were like, this guy hasn't been talking about it enough. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on?
That sounds like a troll to me. I don't know.
The whole TikTok, someone was like, he's not joining the olive one. He's doing something else. We need to block him. I'm like, bro, what universe are we in right now? Like, we're not if you said free Palestine once, that's enough. Like, that's all you need to do. Just do it once. Like, but when these, look, I'm going to be honest, this is a behind the scenes thing. There's a lot of fucking creators scared. There's a lot of them scared.
I bet.
And they're not saying it publicly. I'm talking to them and they're like, what do I like? It's just like white people shit when they DM me, like, what do I need to say to make these people happy? I'm like, just say free Palestine, dude. Like, but
I mean, to your point, a couple of years ago, if you were doing the same kind of stuff, people would be labeling you as a terrorist, right?
Yeah.
Or they would say that you're like anti-Semitic, or you're doing this because you hate Jewish people, or you just support Hamas or stuff like that. So that's like that it's not working anymore, which is nice, or at least it's not working as effectively.
No, and that's the thing is like you have to understand, like it's one of those things where just my existence alone is anti-Semitic. Like I was talking to my friend who went to he did his birthright. He did this like long post about like how birthright was like bad and all these things. But he was like, dude, I was taught that like you just saying you're Palestinian is anti-Semitic, and it's like, the fuck does that have to do with anything? Also, what, like the other thing is like, okay, they're like, Muslims want us dead. I'm like, okay, I'm Christian. They're like, and then their brains would explode. They're like, wait, what? And I'm like, no, dude, like What do you think? Dude, my mom went to fucking West Bank a month before this happened, and she was just drinking and partying. And people were like, wait, there's bars there? I'm like, yeah, there's fucking bars there. It's just normal society. So it's one of those things where like, it's not being as effective. I mean, like I still have people that I'm trying not to dox myself, but I was in school. I was in a graduate program, and there was a dude in the program who went around and told people, I didn't meet him, I didn't talk to him, nothing of the sort, but told people we hate each other, okay? Because he was Jewish. I think he just had done birthright. And I was like, and I didn't know him. I'm like, why do we hate each other? And someone's like, you don't want him to exist. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're like, well, you're Palestinian. I never even engaged with this guy. I think I talked to him and invited him to go to Lebanon one time. And I was like, dude, the clubs in Lebanon slap, like, who cares if you're Jewish or whatever? I didn't fucking think of it, And then he was like, this guy wants me dead, blah, blah. That's how bad it was. That was like 8-9 years ago. That's how bad it was. Dating myself right now. But that was like, 8-9 years ago. That's how bad it was. Where just my existence alone was anti-Semitic. And now it's like, people get it. People are like, oh, I understand what's going on. This is bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, that it's bad when, I understand that like the creators are afraid and they fight the fear, but like celebrities won't even speak out. Like you have it. And I think that the whole part of the digital guillotine thing that I really like is it's kind of influenced me in the sense that I'm rethinking celebrities that I like. Like I always thought that Pedro Pascal was really cool. He's very pro-LGBTQ.
He is. No, stop talking. Stop.
I don't about Palestine. And I'm like, I know he knows. Why hasn't he said anything? Taylor Swift, she's been doing private fundraisers. She hasn't said shit. And it's just like, man, like why at this moment in time, I get that you are putting your neck on the line, your career on the line if you say something, but how could you not? Like 20 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to look back and think, man, that is embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed that I didn't do anything, that I didn't say anything. And so to me, I feel like there's really no excuse. And I want people to feel the pressure. I want these creators to feel the pressure because they should feel the pressure. Like we're witnessing a genocide. And if you can't speak out and condemn that and even do the bare minimum, as you said, like just say free Palestine, if you can't do that, I have to reevaluate you. Maybe we're not cool anymore. Maybe we're not on the same side.
There's two things that I like touch on what you just said is that like as a Palestinian person, I used to watch movies. Like I'm a big movie buff, right? And knowing that when I'm watching the movies, like I'd watch a movie with Gal Gadot and I'm like, this motherfucker wants me dead, And there was a time where there was not a single celebrity that I could watch because not a single celebrity was pro-Palestinian. Not a single fucking one of them. Like when people talk about boycotts and doing that shit, what the fuck was I going to boycott? The entire United States government? Yeah. So now it's like one of those things where I always reassess in my brain and I think about this all the time. And it's not just about Palestine. It's about every movement in the United States, like the trans movement, all these different movements, BLM. Like, what would I do if I was in Nazi Germany at the time that they were doing that shit? How would I act? People got to ask themselves that question. And it's happening right now. And you're seeing how people acted. And if people like they telescope history where they think history is some different thing than it is now, like this is grand, beautiful thing where like there was people like all the Americans were anti-hate. That's not how it fucking worked. It probably happened the same as today. And human beings are very predictable. We have the exact same,
animal.
We're the same animal. They think
there was famously a Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. And like Charlie Chaplin made the movie The Great Dictator, but didn't know the atrocities of what happened during World War II or during the Hitler's reign. So it was like, if I had known that, I wouldn't have made that movie. That was like one of the things that he had said. So there was, sorry, go Lance.
What I was going to say, it also gives people the ability to try and separate themselves from how fucked up their own countries are, right? Because like I don't think a lot of people know that Hitler actually modeled a lot of their systems that they used in the Holocaust off some of the residential systems that the indigenous people were suffering by in Canada, and like saw that and saw how effective they were, and we're like, let's do that, let's do these horrifying things. Like we often like to separate ourselves and think that the bad guys were the Nazis in World War II, they were defeated, and that defeated Nazism, and that it's over and we've moved on, and now we won't repeat the same mistakes because Nazis don't exist anymore. but it's like we're the exact same animals, right? We do the same shit just over and over to different groups, different people. We like, you know, the same points today being said towards trans people were the same arguments being used towards gay people, right? They're pedophiles, they're a danger to kids, they're coming for you, all that kind of, it's just recycled. It's the same bigotry over and over again.
I had a friend who was very homophobic, and it took me 10 years to finally convince him. And you know what he said? He's like, you were right. But trans people, they're the weird ones.
I've moved on.
I've applied the same lesson.
You just replaced one with the other.
Yeah.
No homo, by the way. Hey, no homo, okay? But
yeah.
They're okay. They're cool. They're
God.
cool, right?
I was like, all right, bro. I'm like, I can't. I'm not doing another 10 years of this shit. Just eat
a decade for you to be cool.
I was like, I'm not doing it again, dog. But that's the whole thing. Is it goes in a cycle, and it's like one of those things where it's like the Nazis just didn't go anywhere. They just went to the fucking corners of the internet and Trump rallies and shit. You know, like they're still here. So that's the thing about this is that. It is gross. Like one thing that really fucking grosses me out is how I think I met you, Lance, like at the beginning of this stuff, right? How long I've been bitching and how many people were like this in the regular content creator space were like this. And these same people, when the trans movement was happening, they were like, yeah, fuck yeah, trans people, we're on your side, we're fucking down for the cause, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but like this Gaza stuff, and they're like, it's really complicated. There's like a lot of history. Complicated. I don't really have the tools to just like it's not complicated. You see that there's children being blown up. It doesn't matter who's blowing them up. Just stop it. Let's just like ceasefire. Like, how about we'll start there, you know? And now it's like a lot of people are starting to understand that like obviously a ceasefire isn't enough. It really isn't, because what it's going to end up doing, they're going to do the same shit that they've done to us for 20 years. Now they're doing it in fucking Jenin, right? They're invading in Jenin. You know, I've got cousins in the West Bank. My editor was in Gaza. So it's one of those things where it's not going to stop. However, we have the pressure now, and I don't think we're ever really going to get this much eyes on us in the future. So this is the time for this shit to end. This is the apartheid South Africa stuff that needs to end, you know? So, you know, and there's a lot of things, like even in the Arab community, man, like I've been in the community, a lot of people wanted a 2-state solution. And now you see a lot of them, they're like, no, that's not going to happen. Like we need 1 state. They were like, where do you go? Like when they went to Palestine, they're like, what's the 2-state? You're going to drive between, like you have to drive between a road to another road. And then you're going through Israel to get out. Like, they're like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking insane, you know? So yeah, it's different, man. It's different. And, you know, I don't know if that's coming through. I'm sorry, but
it's coming through. I was like, where the Mario songs coming from?
Sorry.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I put this together on the fly because I just got back into my house. But anyways, yeah, it's one of those things where it is a huge. This is the moment, and I've been doing this for a long time. Protests. I mean, like this is the first political issue I was ever aware of. You know, you're Palestinian. This is your first political issue. This is basically what radicalized me. That became like a leftist, you know, and like I was against the Iraq War probably because of this issue, because I know exactly how the U.S. frames the Middle East, and I understood that Osama bin Laden wasn't in Iraq. Most Americans at the time did not. They thought they were all in the same country.
True.
So it's one of those things where we have the pressure. The sad part about it is Arabs are not treated. They're treated worse because of the State Department's fucking Islamophobic shit that they've hit against the United States. They are treated probably worse than any other minority, where people really do have to think a couple times before killing them. They're like, well, they're terrorists and they're this, especially Muslims. Like Muslims get it really bad. So like, you know, I was bitching the other day how Twitch has every month they have a, you know, like what's it called? Like they'll have like Pride Month or Black History Month, and then we have an Arabic American month, but they were like silent on that issue. They just didn't talk about it. And it's one of those things where we're just not treated as like a protected minority class. We're like a minority class, but we're not protected, you know, by the people that we should be. But I feel like this, hopefully going forward, it will be a little bit, it will nudge these creators in the right direction, and not only help Palestine, but the other fucking military bases and horrible things we do in the Middle East. Because like living there, it is a different experience. Like I lived there for a while. It is a different experience. You realize what they've sold to you is a bag of shit. you know, and it's not right. It's not what it's not what you're getting told, you know. Like one of the things that they say, oh, gay people are killed. It's like, you know, one of my favorite podcasts I listen to is in Lebanon, and he got fucking recently canceled because he was too hard on a gay guy, you know. And it was like, and he was like, yeah, my bad, I'm sorry, you know. But that's from the Lebanese people in Lebanon. He doesn't have American listeners, you know. But people don't see that. They just see like terrorist, Arab, kill them, you know.
And even if that wasn't the case, even if they were like super homophobic, that wouldn't change my resolve. That,
no,
like,
100%,
bad,
right?
Like that, I often hear that talking point where it's like, well, you know that they kill you for being bi in Palestine or something like that, and it's like they're killing bi people in Palestine today. Like right now, bombs are dropping on gay people, trans people, on all people, kids, babies, like everyone's dying. So,
but it's there's such a fundamental misunderstanding about this entire region. Like people have told me, oh, it's funny, I'd like to see you try to go in Gaza right now as a gay dude. They'd immediately just attack you and, like, you know, tackle you. And it's like, what they don't understand. Yeah, it's like first of all, fuck you. I don't think I'm that obvious. Second of all, like, I mean, in North Africa, like throughout the Middle East, like they're in their post Stonewall eras. Like they have actual gay rights movements and LGBTQ plus rights movements. And in the Tunisian LGBTQ plus movement, they're very much like, I think that they're where the Queers for Palestine thing originated from, that went viral, where it's like, oh, these are like gays for Trump, you know? So there's just this misunderstanding. Yeah, there's lots of homophobia. Governments are homophobic, but like they're just normal people. And that's part of the disconnect. And what really made it click for me is that what we view Arabs and Gazans as and Palestinians is not human beings. And that's how a lot of Americans have been taught to view them as inferior, as not human beings like us, where they don't want to live. Like it's a perception that has gone on so long, and open bigotry against Arabs isn't just something that's like socially acceptable. It's actually like, it's something that's encouraged. Yeah. So
if you see something, say something.
Right. Yeah.
Be a hero. Call it them terrorists.
Yeah. If you see an Arab, call the FBI. But no, I mean, like, it's one of those things where it's just like, like, what are we going to do? Okay, we're going to bomb everywhere that's homophobic. Let's start with Alabama. You know, like,
yeah, let's start with the U.S. or Canada.
They're like, they'll kill you in Gaza if you're gay. I'm like, okay, but they'll kill me in Alabama if I'm not fucking white. Like, I remember I asked my white friend one time. I was like, yo, he lives like in that area, and I was like, yo, dude, you think it would be safe if I went there, like, kind of as a joke? And he was like, dude, it's not safe for me because I have long hair, and they like stare at me. I'm like, look like you're translucent, like me. But no, it is one of those things where it's just like, there are movements that people don't even understand, like, are happening a lot in the Middle East. There's a communist movement. There's a communist bar in Beirut. There's a communist bar that I've been to. It's a Marxist bar. And there was a big communist movement there. And then there's like the people, like, one of the things that I always say is they're like, oh, there's a lot of anti-Semitism. I'm like, no, dude, there's a lot of Muslim hate. I've lived in Beirut. They hate Muslims. I had friends of mine had a Muslim guy who was protesting. He climbed up on a pole and he like electrocuted and died. And they were like fucking with the body because they are dehumanizing them. They were like, oh, it was so funny. He died. And we were like taking pictures. And I'm like, that's not fun. That's disgusting. You know, but you're in the third world. You're like, what am I going to do? Like fucking report him to the police? Like, there's nothing I can do here. So it's one of those things where it's like the perception is not really the reality. And the differences between countries are so vast that they monolith the Middle East when it is very different from country to country. Like, I cannot understand someone from Egypt. When I went to Morocco, I could not understand what they were saying. It's a much different language. But like Lebanon and Palestine, which I'm from both, it's very similar because we're both like from the Levant region. We kind of have the same dialect, but there are different things like where they're like, just go to Saudi. I'm like, dude, do you understand? I can't even understand I can't understand their dialect. It is too difficult for me to understand what they're saying. So you're telling someone like me to go to Saudi because what do I have in common with Saudi Arabia? It's so far away that, like, one of the things that I always like kind of harken back to is that most people in Lebanon don't know what Persian people are. They really don't. They're like, what do you mean? What's the difference? Because again, it is that far away. They understand Hezbollah, they understand Iran, but they're like, what are Persian people like? They've never met one. You know, so for them, for all Americans, they're all like, oh, it's all the same. Iran, Lebanon, Palestine. I'm like, no, dude, it is very different and it's very far. It's not like this little small place, you know? So, you know, it's so that's one of the things that like misconceptions that a lot of people get. And yeah, there's a lot of homophobia. Yeah, there's anti-Semitism. It's just like everywhere else. There's a lot of racism in there too. You know, there's racism in the Middle East too. Because, you know, so like, what are we going to do? Bomb everyone? You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, frustrating, but you know, it is what it is. You got to fight the good fight.
Yeah.
There's racism
absolutely.
in Vancouver, Canada. There's racism everywhere.
Yeah. That's never a
racism.
justification to
bomb Canada.
cleanse
Don't
them
do it.
and starve them. Right.
Don't
It's
cleanse
just,
us.
I think that people are trying to force this transactional view of morality on everybody else because they don't care. So they think that
and they're
shouldn't care.
transactional. That's the other thing, right? Do you see all those people posting where it's just like, I marched for you during Black Lives Matter and you won't stand for me now? And I was like, what, did you get enough tokens, like woke tokens? Are they traded? Are they like Pokemon cards? Like,
I'm turning in my IOU.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
Every 4 marches I did for BLM, I get 1 for Palestine every time.
Yeah, like what?
It's just nonsensical. One question I had, that this is completely random. So I don't know anything about the Try Guys in their studio. So if they're doing like an in-studio event, like you've got to get performers, and in particular MC Abdul. I'm trying to plug him whenever I can. He's a Gazan rapper, and he's like 15 years old, and he's incredible.
Is he in Gaza right now?
No, he's out.
His
family's out.
Right?
Yeah.
But he's got that viral video where he's doing a bunch of rhymes in front of rubble and stuff. He is good.
Yeah,
though.
it's called Shouting at the Wall.
That video. Yeah, that's
very young, amazing. So I'm trying to plug him because if you just listen to his songs, you'll get a history lesson. And it's sad because a kid shouldn't know all this and have these experiences, but he's very sharp. And I think that people find things resonate with people differently. So like reading a book or watching a YouTube video isn't going to work for everybody, but listening to a song might make it click for them. So that's why I'm trying to push as much educational things as I can. So that way, hey, maybe the song will click with your mom or something like that, because you don't know. You've got to try different things.
15 seconds of it, I think.
We have a meeting tomorrow. I'm gonna bring it in and talk about it, because it is one of those things where what I've been trying to do is get as much, again, it's as much as you can. It's a shotgun effect. It's gonna change someone's mind,
Yeah.
And I try my best to do what I can. I did an interview with the PCRF, and then it was an impromptu thing that there was a kid there that had lost his leg, and I was talking to him just in Arabic to be like, hey, this is just a normal kid. This is unfortunately the X comments were fantastic. How those go.
Okay.
So
terrorists everywhere.
Terrorist kid is my favorite. I'm like, yeah, dude.
Terrorist kid. Wow.
They started.
That'll fill the hole in your heart. Good job.
That'd be great. I'll look into that. What we're trying to do is, for one, we're trying to figure out what to do, and then we're trying to see if we want to have people call in, or we want the charities to talk, or we want to see the people on the ground. I think that the number one thing is what you touched on is humanizing. The number one, it's always about humanizing Palestinians. It's always about talking to them. I think that the one thing that people have been doing poorly in this entire all these creators talking about it is not enough Palestinians have been brought up. What they tend to do is they bring up Jewish voices to be like, oh, these are Jewish people that don't say it's anti-Semitic, but they lack the Palestinian voices to be like, hey, you also need to talk. You need to talk to Palestinians. There's those 2 kids that, have you ever seen, they vlog their day in Gaza? Every day they'll vlog what's going on, and they do these really cute TikToks. Those kids.
I've seen a couple of the TikToks, but they also break my heart. Them, and I think as Bizan from Gaza also interviewed them, the one who does the AJ Plus reporting. She's, I think, collaborated once with them. But it is necessary viewing. I saw the other day some viral video where someone was going up to liberals on the street who are it's complicated style, and showing them footage and showing them TikToks, and then they were getting it because they hadn't seen it before. It's kind of like, oh, I didn't know that's what it looks like. I was like, yeah, it just looks like a nuke went off or something. There's nothing left. And, yeah, it's hard to look at.
It's weird because I think that like Americans really think that it's a fucking desert with a bunch of camels and like all these like it's like that's not what it is at all. Like it's very much more akin to Greece. Yeah, it's more like Greece. If I had to explain it to anyone, I'm like it's more like you're on the beach and you're in high rises. It's like downtown LA, I would say, on the water. That's really how it is. Like the high rise is a little bit old. I mean, Gaza's obviously like completely cut off. But you look at that and then you go from that to fucking rubble. Like one of the ones that I think that was really, really mind changing that I lost it on fucking my scrolls through Instagram, but it was a rich person, which somehow I know right wingers that will like really click in their brain. It was a rich person's house and it was fucking nice as shit. And then what happened was the army went in there and tagged the place up and just trashed it. And something like that really resonates in people's brains, like, oh, these people were living good and you bomb them and then you basically just like ruin their house and tag like kill all Arabs, you know. And it was like this kid had like a shoe rack that was like all his dunks and they like did like kill all Arabs and they like did like, you know, free Israel stuff. And that like to me I was like, damn, that's actually something that like people, because people see like, oh, these poor people, they're not like us, blah blah, but like I don't know why rich people really resonate and
it sounds like it had to rehumanize for some folk before they could actually process it.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
That's fucked up. That it was like a wealthy person was like, oh wait, what? They have things to lose. Yeah, oh, I care about this now. Yeah.
They're like, I don't want my dunks. I'm like, bro, you can't afford the dunks. Like, let's be honest. It's always the right winger with like $20 in the bank. They're like, oh, dude, when I get my $1 million house, it's not gonna happen for you. Like, it's not gonna happen for you. You're too racist. yeah. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions or anything else, let me know. But otherwise, I'll get out of your hair and let you guys continue on the pod. But yeah,
by the way, you're welcome to drop it anytime. Like, yeah, I didn't ask you to give us all this information. I was like, you just come on and talk politics, but anytime you want, drop by. Yeah.
Always down to talk politics. I'm more infuriated than any other person right now because you know how it is. It's fucking I get all the heat, you know, especially right now. It's getting the heat. Like now, as soon as all the other content creators got on board, then they start targeting you because they're like, oh, you're, you know, and the ones that are not getting on board are starting to target you because they're like, oh, you're pressuring me and I don't want. And it's like, you know, they know the heat's coming. You know,
the silence is deafening. They should know that. We're noticing people who aren't saying
who, by the way, can you share?
Dude, I've done too many call outs for the week. I'm fucking tapped out.
Binder wants tea. Last minute tea.
Just check my Twitter, dude. I've done enough for the week. I'm good. It was so funny. The other day I saw one and I was like, I'm about to fucking light this shit up. And I was like, I don't need this in my life right now. I was like, I'll take a couple days. I was like,
I've got so many of those. I don't want the smoke. I don't have the mental capacity to deal with like an entire week of now. I'm just gonna put the phone down.
Yeah, that I have to catch myself. Like yesterday, I was just browsing through Twitter and I saw a video from Lindsey Graham that he posted. He's like, Norway and Spain, they're rewarding terrorism. And I'm just like, oh, fuck this. And I wrote, eat a dick. And I'm like, I need to delete that. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's like, rein it in, Mike. Okay, that's not going to do shit. Just rein it in.
I feel like just from a mental health standpoint, in order to like continue to cover what's important here, what's actually happening in Gaza, like I've had to like pick and choose my online battles just so I wouldn't wear myself out with silly bullshit. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I responded to one right before I got on here because I was really angry and I'm like, I shouldn't have done it. But someone was just like, you're a piece of shit Muslim fuck you and all your religions. I was like, was born Christian, number one. Number two, I'm not religious. And I'm like, also like, go fuck yourself. I'm like, it's like, Jesus Christ. I think I've said that 1,000 times. I think the amount of Muslim comments I get, I need to be studied in the future. They really do. Like the daily fucking you're Muslim. I'm like, dude, there's nothing wrong with being Muslim, 100%. But like, there's also other religions there, including Jewish people that were there before all this shit happened. crazy.
I think we need to start just targeting Scientologists again. They got a pass for too long now. Let's go back to Scientologists.
Hey, I'm a Scientologist. Don't say that.
I'm targeting you, Mike. You and your thetans and all that shit and your power levels. Fuck that.
Have you guys ever been to the city that they own? The Scientology?
Is it the one in LA?
Yeah, it's in Hemet.
I've actually driven through it before when I was younger.
Wild.
It's wild, dude. It's a rough place to begin with, but it's also wild because they just like have this like looming compound over the whole fucking thing. So they like it's also it's basically like it's a desert town, but like it's just this looming compound. I'm like, oh, this like if anyone didn't believe it was a cult, they just have to drive through there, and you'll be like, oh,
and see the building.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna hop off. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll definitely pop on next time to talk more. I think I gotta take care of some other stuff with this stupid event, but I appreciate you guys.
Thanks so much, and thanks for organizing.
Everyone, check out the Arabs podcast. You didn't plug it before, but go check out the Arabs podcast with Frogan. It's really good shit.
Check out.
Nice. I love Frogan.
Yeah, it's me, Frogan. I'll plug this real quick. It's the easiest thing. It's me, Frogan, and Raf. Raf is Jewish Lebanese. Frogan's Muslim Lebanese, and I'm Christian Lebanese and Palestinian. So it's 3 Arabs like from all the religions, and we just do. It's my big my favorite YouTube project that I'm working on. We launched it like a couple months ago, so it's really cool.
I like that.
A lot of
What's it called again? One more time. What's it called?
Arabs, which is definitely a slur, but we're taking it back. It's really cool. So it's just AYYRABS. But anyways,
like how George Bush would say it, essentially.
Yeah. I got it from I used to say that slur all the time because it's not really like it's like the softest one, but I got it from all the fucking military people who'd come back like, "Are you one of them Arabs?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude." I'm like, Arab is not that hard to say, dog. Like, it's not that hard. Like, just use your fucking lip. Like, goddamn, bro. Anyways, all right. I'll see you guys. Thank you so much.
Take care. Appreciate it.
That was good. When is the event again? It's May 30th, right? May 30th.
I mean, the event's going on 24/7 on the Tiltify. If you type "Creators for Palestine" into Google, the Tiltify will come up right away, and the money is going towards the UNRWA Palestinian Children's Relief Fund and one other org, maybe MAP. And then they're going to be doing that event, I think, on the 30th, and then there'll be other events as well. I think they're just going to keep on going. They're trying to get to $1 million right now. Well on their way, almost at 700,000. So pretty dope.
Good to all those creators for speaking up. I have like a newfound respect for them, like the Try Guys and whatnot. I'm not super familiar with them, but I really appreciate them doing that because a lot of folks don't want to say anything.
Yeah, and I saw someone in the comments earlier mention, why does everyone need an opinion? It's if you have a platform and you have the ability to reach people who are especially apolitical, like, if you're like the Try Guys, for example, like you're not a political outlet, that it's even more important for you to speak on this because you have the ability to change more minds and educate more people and add to the movement and voices that are trying to address this crisis.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. Like if you're a normal person and you're not saying anything, I mean, I'm not going to hold that against you. I mean, of
you
course,
have exactly whatever.
We're talking about people with.
I mean, you can talk to friends and family, but it's only has so much of an impact.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you have a platform, I feel like you have an obligation to use that for the greater good. That's what I try to do with mine, And so if I'm just like a regular YouTuber, I understand how uncomfortable that would be if I'm talking about like, I don't know, fucking shopping vlogs or some shit. But I mean, some things are just more important, right? And you need to step up. So, I appreciate the ones that do. Who hasn't spoken up yet? That's a hard question. That's very difficult to trace, especially because I'm a boomer and I don't track a lot of the newer influencers and stuff. But
yeah, I don't know half these people, more than half of them. But there are even some political, some liberal YouTubers that barely, if ever, touch this issue.
Which is
a lot of liberal YouTubers. Yeah, a lot of them don't.
Yeah, well, I guess all of them. Yeah, if you're a liberal, then you're not touching the issue.
Yeah,
just naturally,
because it hurts Daddy Biden.
Which it by the way, it doesn't. Like this is what I find so frustrating about, like, these idiots think that they're helping avoid, a Donald Trump candidacy by avoiding Biden's issues. All you're doing is speaking to the people that are going to vote for Biden anyways. Like if you're not like you're not changing any minds if you're not even willing to address this issue. Like the way to actually get people involved in politics is to speak on these issues. Is to like the only way you seem credible is if you are willing to be honest about the faults of the Biden administration. If you're just ignoring all of it, who's going to listen to you when you have an opinion? It's just, again, it's Democratic voters that are going to vote for Biden anyways. You're not doing anything positive for society by being unwilling to criticize an obvious disaster.
Yeah, I was listening to your video about Charlemagne, David, on this, and when you made that point about like liberal people, I was like, that hit so hard. I'm like, fuck. I know exactly who you're talking about. I won't name any names, but it's just frustrating because
everyone knows.
People who know better should do better, right? And that's what bugs me.
You
But
can,
it's
you can also name
strategic.
names in absinthe, right? Like Sean, I think, is the only major bread tuber, quote unquote, to do a full scale video on Palestine recently. There's
True.
maybe some more news has made some good videos, but like otherwise, like what was the point of bread tube if all the biggest names aren't doing videos on this?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
some of them take like a year to make a video, so
True.
maybe we'll see something.
maybe they're coming in 2 years' time. We'll get a whole bunch, just a flood of them.
Or listen, if not a video,
That's a good point.
I'll take a fucking tweet. Okay, you're not a politician. You're not policy making power. Just using that platform, I think, really it showing that solidarity with your platform. I think that goes a long way, honestly.
Yeah. Agreed. Oh, where did Mike just go?
Carrie Lake and Mike.
He's disappeared.
Oh, I love that photo.
Hilarious. I'm like sweating bullets. Like I was like so cold when I started this, and now I'm like super warm. But I'm sure I'm really sweaty, so I don't take the sweater off. Hide my pit stains. I'm fucking dying here. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, we could end early, David, if you're dying in real time.
I may grab my super chats and dip just because I need to go to sleep. I need to try and get over this bullshit. I got 4 super chats, so.
Binder, was there another exciting topic besides the Scarlett Joe? I think
No,
that
that,
right?
and then we had on our guest. I mean, I think
Elon,
that's. I know Trump is doing a rally in the Bronx.
Yeah, I saw some
the Reich rally. Yeah, I saw that.
Tony D, $2 says, "Love you, David." Thank you, Tony. Love you too. Kayo Damon, I always forget how to say this name, but thank you for the $4.99. Says, "Hope you feel better soon, David. I'll always be asking you about JRPGs. Have you heard of yet another Atlas game coming out called ReFantazio? Hell yeah! Metaphor ReFantazio. That is one of my most anticipated games of the year. Absolutely.
No doubt.
Lawn Gnomes is next. Lawn Gnomes, $5 super chat. Thank you. Says, what 2 cities should get video portals like the NYC Dublin ones? After seeing some of the stuff from that, I'm not sure any more should get them. Would you shoot for short-term shenanigans or politeness that might actually stay up? I don't know. Put one in Toronto since, the hometown choice here. But I'm not sure where it would portal to. Toronto to, I don't know.
That shit was so funny.
London. But yeah, some of the I saw the one lady flashing people. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It took like 3 days for people just to get fucking crazy.
A dude showed his ass.
I need to visit it. I haven't been there.
Somebody in Dublin. I don't know if you talked about this when I was gone. Somebody in Dublin showed a picture of the Twin Towers burning on their phone. Somebody in NYC shared a picture of a potato. I'm like, god damn, they're fucking roasting the shit out of each other.
Gotta go to the portal and pull my pants down and just.
A woman did flash it. A woman flashed the portal.
I know,
they shut it down.
That's what I'm referencing.
How many indecent exposure charges are going to come about because of these fucking portals?
We can't have nice things.
Bernice Anders, thank you for your super chat. Says, get some Tom Yum noodle soup. Oh my god, that is such great soup. I should definitely do that.
Yeah, Tom Yum noodle soup.
Unfortunately, there isn't really great places around me.
Tom Yum noodles, is that a Canadian thing?
No,
I've never heard of it.
I think it's Thai, isn't it?
right?
Thai
Yeah,
soup.
it's Thai soup.
Oh.
I'm unfamiliar.
Same.
No, we only have poutine soup in Canada. Just blend up a poutine, serve it
Blend
to
some
ice
fries and gravy into some soup.
Yeah.
Jacqueline Leach, thank you for the super chat. Canadian super chat says, David, have Jugmeat in your show. You can talk about being a father and stuff. You sound really convinced about this thing that I should do. I'm not going to have any politicians on my show. I just feel it. Yeah, I don't. I don't know. You can't. I feel like it's. I don't know. It's not something I really want to do. Like, I know people like to do interviews and talk to politicians and shit. I don't. I feel like it's hard to. First of all, I don't think he would do it because I would ask real questions. But secondly, I just think I don't know. It's tough to get honest answers out of politicians. That's always the issue. Like, talking to any of these politicians, they're going to talk in circles around you. Like, even if you have good questions, they're never going to give you an answer that's actually engaging and interesting. So I just find it to be useless.
I know it's funny because the super chat list, the super chat from the listener was like talking about being a father, and you're over there going like, I'm gonna ask him the tough questions, and I'm imagining the scenario where it's like, who's your favorite Bluey character, and don't you fucking lie to me, motherfucker. It is not bingo, you liar.
I'm not into Bluey yet. I'm sure I will be at some point, but he's not yet into Bluey.
Does she like Miss Rachel?
Used to. I think he grew out of Miss Rachel now. He loves trucks, so it's like anything with like
Miss
talking
Rachel's
cars,
the pro-Palestine one, right?
like monster trucks.
Oh, does he watch that? Does he watch that Nickelodeon show Blaze? Blaze and the monster.
We may have
trucks
watched that one. Yeah,
Blaze TV.
It's like a lot of YouTube stuff, but yeah, there's some stuff on like Disney Plus as well that he likes.
David, do you have a Daily Wire Kids subscription? I'm sorry.
Do they have that now, don't they?
They have a kid. They have
real?
like kids ripoffs of Bluey, and there's another one I can't remember, but it's like another ripoff of a different show that I'm not remembering right now. But yeah, they do.
That's disturbing. Will y'all live stream the first debate for the podcast? If we can do it, and there's no copyright issues, then I would definitely do it. But that's going to be.
We'll do it on Rumble if we can't.
There we go. There we go. Either way, I'll make a video about it. Like, we're going to talk about it if we can't live stream it. So, yeah.
All right. I'm out. Good night,
Take
everybody.
care, David.
Right,
Get
David,
better.
Feel better.
Bye.
I hope so. Bye.
Whoa, wait, hold on. Let's see this picture.
I was doing stop cam there.
Let's see this fancy picture of David Dole.
Needs more
Look at
Carrie
that.
Lake.
Wow.
That's me.
Needs a bit more
Where's that picture from? Where are you standing in front of?
I think that's Hawaii, actually.
Oh, okay, very cool.
You're clearly dressed for Hawaii with that fleece sweater.
I think we were up higher, like in the mountains or something like that. It's either Hawaii or Iceland. Maybe it's Iceland because of the sweater. But I'm not sure. Anyways, good night.
All right, take care.
Bringing sweaters to Hawaii.
Okay, so I'm just gonna take it from the top, and I'll try to skip over the ones that David did. This is for you, Matt.
BetAsh29 with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Happy birthday to your little one. Buy them some candy with this. Wow, I really appreciate that. Probably won't just buy them candy because $20 worth of candy for a now 5-year-old is a lot of candy. But it'll definitely all go to them. I mean, technically, when you send me money for super chats, any other 365 days a year, 9 times out of 10, that money's going to them too. So yeah, I appreciate it though. Thank you. Kowalski with a super chat, a $10 super chat.
Hell yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't be Trump's vice president because I do not meet the age requirement. I'm 30. However, I'm willing to be voted sexiest member of the GOP. Not a hard bar to clear, to be honest. Okay, for some context. Earlier today in the Majority Report, we were discussing who Donald Trump could possibly pick for vice president. Emma accidentally walked herself into a bit of a kerfuffle when she I forget, was it Nikki Haley or Tulsi? But basically she bet that either Nikki Haley or Tulsi Gabbard would not be Trump's VP, so much so that she would get a very large tattoo if she was wrong. And then she quickly tried to walk that back once Matt Leck warned her. And I said, no, you've already said it. It is now your word. So I'm looking forward to this possibly happening. But anyway, so we were discussing who Trump would possibly pick. And we sort of narrowed it down to it's got to be someone.
He's picking the puppy killer, isn't he?
Who wouldn't? No, he doesn't like that.
Maybe not anymore.
Maybe he doesn't like dogs or whatever. But I've read things about how he like criticized his sons for doing like trophy hunting. Like he thought it was disgusting.
Oh, okay.
Again, I don't know if he's the type of guy who actually cares about the animals, or if he's like like a rich person who just like finds anything like that to just be like uncivilized or uncouth or something like that.
But it's rich people who do the game hunting. That's weird.
So the fact that he doesn't like it, I probably doesn't like that. Kristi Noem was shooting dogs. But anyway, we're discussing it's got to be someone. He's probably gonna pick someone who won't overshadow him, obviously. Hence why he picked Mike Pence. But someone who is younger and handsome. Just to, sort of round out the ticket, he could be, it's not someone who'll be compared to him in any way because of age, but it's also someone good looking, which will bolster his chances. And so we're trying to think of good looking young Republicans. And obviously this is there are none until I remembered that one Aaron Kowalski just ran as a Republican in Nebraska. Got 40,000 votes, and he's young. I don't know if anyone's ever seen him on my stream. He's a good-looking guy. He's a farmer. If someone tells Donald Trump about Kowalski, he might pick Kowalski as his VP pick. And you know what?
Unstoppable.
You want to talk about, leftists are going to vote for Donald Trump. That doesn't happen unless Trump picks Kowalski, and then I think I might have a real problem on my hands. Who would I vote for?
Yeah, I mean, if Trump steals democracy and becomes a dictator, Kowalski is this close to becoming a dictator himself. Trump just has to die. He has to wait out Trump, and then we have a Kowalski dictatorship. I would support that. It's fine. If we're going to get dictatorship, I think that Kowalski is a good option.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
but I don't support dictatorship. But I mean,
I was like,
if given
scary stuff.
Yeah.
Well, where'd he just go?
I don't know.
Led said something and then he jumped. I didn't hear what he said. All right, let's continue. Matt Kuya Damon with a super chat. Matt, we're on the hunt for a Matt, we're on the hunt for a bleach blonde, bad built, short stack, thick like a goblin, butch body, just for you. That was worth the donut.
God.
Wow, that's really combining all those.
That's quite the mouthful.
Bleach blonde, bad built, short stack, thick like a goblin, butch body. There we go. Ooh, nice.
That was pretty good, Matt. I don't think I could pull that off.
Wasn't bad. Yeah, maybe I should start freestyling. No.
Okay, so 2 for David, another for David. Okay, I think this is for you.
Mr. Sushi 22 with a super chat. Did you guys see the batshit crazy Terrence Howard Rogan interview? You have to see it if you haven't. I have seen clips.
Yeah, I've only seen clips so far.
I've heard for over the years now that Terrence Howard is obviously suffering from like mental illness. Like he seems to be going off the rails. He has been losing acting roles due to his behavior and how he's presenting himself. I did not know it was like this until he went on Joe Rogan's show. To see Joe Rogan, like, I don't know, take anything he said seriously and not realize that something like what am I doing here? This was a mistake. I mean, it shows you just how that show is. I mean, Terrence Howard is clearly going through things, and
he needs help, not a platform.
He's not even like a political, like just a straight up like political conspiracy theorist. He's just like completely out there, like not on this planet. Something is definitely wrong, and he needs.
Well, he was talking about like them turning off gravity or something. Like I might not be getting it right, but he said something about gravity is being rethought, like just the shit that you couldn't dream of, right? So something is very clearly off, and I think that Joe Rogan, he needs to do a better job at like guest selection, because you can't just bring somebody on.
Wow,
with
that's
severe.
That's a broad. It's a lot of people you can say that about.
True. That's fair. That's fair. But I mean, come on. There's severe mental illness going on that needs to be treated, and I think it kind of feels like, I don't know, just making it a spectacle. It made me feel kind of bad for Terrence Howard. I don't know anything about him. Maybe he's a piece of shit in real life, but he very clearly needs help.
Flying Ice, which says, sounds like the Alex Jones interview, but depressing. Wait, Terrence Howard didn't go on Alex Jones. Oh, you mean when Alex Jones went on Rogan? No, I don't even think it is like that, because Alex Jones is an act. He knows what he's doing. He's not someone who needs help. He's not.
Yeah, I agree.
He knows completely what he's doing. He's completely in control. It's a complete act for him. He has it all plotted and planned out. Terrence Howard is someone who appears to be going through things, and it's not a sudden thing either. It seems like he's been. I mean, I remember when he was in Iron Man, and then they needed to replace him in Iron Man 2. This is like going back, almost 2 decades now, I think, right? Or 15 years or something like that. I heard things about him then, like the reason they couldn't work with him anymore is because stuff was going on with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think it was just because he was high. Terrence Howard was high, and Rogan says Aleoxin free. I mean, I've heard there's been, and I'm not saying I've personally heard like this. You could find stuff online. People have been saying stuff about Terrence Howard, and something's going on there for a while. I don't know what his issue is. I'm not gonna diagnose him. Maybe it is drugs. Maybe it is just a mental health issue. I don't know, but it's not something where he just smoked some weed before going on Rogan. This is something that's been going on for a while.
Weed doesn't make you think like that, right? Like it's not. That's not what it is. There's something that.
Well, maybe it would make you think like that, but in like a more down to earth, humorous fashion. Like this guy is clearly out there. This guy is clearly needs. Yeah, something's going on.
Yeah, weed doesn't make you like become delusional and hallucinate and have delusions of grandeur. You just laugh and giggle and eat food. It's not that deep. It's not drugs. Something's wrong with him, and he needs help.
Tokyo Hans with the super chat. Yep. Tokyo Hans with the super chat. I asked ChatGPT to respond to me in the persona of David Dole's chat. It now will not stop spewing out right-wing propaganda.
Kowalski with $9.99. Thank you, Kowalski. Which is worse, using a fake Scarlett Johansson voice in an AI chatbot, or using a Snoop Dogg body double to promote cryptocurrency? We live in the dumbest timeline. Yeah, is that a thing? Did they promote Snoop Dogg that way, or I don't know, but
I don't remember that. I know he probably was promoting it.
I was gonna say I think he did. I thought he actually did do it. Maybe it was AI. I'm not sure.
The difference here is Snoop Dogg. It seems like Snoop Dogg. Let me look it up before I throw anyone under the bus.
Yeah, I'm curious. Maybe Snoop Dogg lended his likeness to an AI thing.
Oh, Snoop Dogg and Eminem promoted cryptocurrency a lot. They were really big into the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs,
right.
and they even released a song at like some music award that was just about those NFTs and promoting them. They tried to sell NFTs hard. Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So the difference here is Snoop Dogg actually promoted crypto. And Scarlett Johansson said no to the AI, to OpenAI, and they went ahead and used her likeness allegedly anyway.
Yes.
I hate that.
She did say yes to
Snoop.
SodaStream promotion though, so there's that.
Oh, Scarlett. Oh, cancel her.
Well,
Why do you even
has she
need
said
that?
anything?
Just buy soda.
Listen, I'm not even a Scarlett Johansson fan or anything, so I'm not even like defending her, but I'm just asking as someone. Has she said anything recently? I know the SodaStream thing was like what 2014 or something.
Yeah, it was long. I think it was 2015.
Maybe,
and so immediately afterwards, she was part of some organization, or she had like a position in a human rights organization that she had to leave because of her stances on Israel specifically afterwards.
Okay.
And I only know this because I had the same back and forth yesterday when I was talking about the Scarlett Johansson. Everyone was like, "Yeah, but she's hardcore pro-Israel, all this kind of stuff." And I was like, "She did one SodaStream ad in 2012 or something." Okay, she's probably come a long way since then. And everyone's like, "Nah, she's been pretty shitty for a while. You're just a fan." I was like, "Yeah,
wow,
everyone's a fan."
Man, that sucks because I liked her. I thought she was a talented actress, and now she's ruined for me.
Done. I'm done with like liking celebrities, or that ship has sailed for me.
Except for Pedro Pascal, he can do no wrong. I have no idea what Mike said,
I mean,
so
listen,
I'm going to keep leaving him Pedro.
be,
he is zaddy for life. Fuck you, Mike.
You could be a fan of their work. You could like bands, but like personally, I don't give a shit about any of these people anymore. You know, I'm even honestly, I think like we even have to, and this should have always been the case, but and it's been for me, but I want to reiterate for people, should also like do the same for like your fave politicians as well. A lot of people put too much hope.
People
and
get
faith
addicted to the cult of personality. Like, look what's happening right now, where you have people trying to justify what's happening by saying, "Well, Biden is building a port of food," or "Biden is doing this." It's like you can call Biden out. You can still be a Democrat, or I'm with her, or a blue wave, and still be like, "This is wrong and fucked, and you shouldn't be on the side of defending this." Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently that's too difficult for some people, which is embarrassing for them.
Yeah. So don't put your hope and faith in any sort of individuals, famous people, creators even. Listen, I'll never disappoint you, but I also don't want to.
Put all your faith in me. I am Lord.
I also don't want to carry the burden of your faith being in me. People sometimes seem to think that a little me and little you guys too in the big picture have an outsized sort of I don't know, influence in the world and the way things go. We are completely powerless, just like you guys.
We're small potatoes. We have platforms, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you know, we're making a fart in the forest. Nobody can hear it. And that's not real.
If you mean in comparison to, say, Biden's policies, yes, I 100% agree with you. I think Biden's policies are going to sway the votes way more than Matt Binder or Mike Figueredo can.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so this one's from Chris Corcoran, $5. Thank you, Chris. Rachel Ziegler, aka the new Snow White, has been pro-Palestine even before October 7th. There are celebs who are good. I hope she doesn't get fired for it. I did not know that, but respect to her. I really appreciate celebrities who are willing to speak up, because it's apparently very difficult to do that.
Yeah, they're not going to fire over it. The movie is too far along, I think. I mean, that's really probably the reason they wouldn't. But no, I mean, there are a lot of young celebrities who are, and older celebrities too. Like, for example, and I love seeing his tweets because it seems like he played himself in the show. What's his face from Game of Thrones? Oh my God, I'm having a mental block right now. The most moral character on that show, Sir Davos. The actor who played Sir Davos in Game of Thrones is super pro-Palestine and has been tweeting about it and posting about it nonstop.
Oh, so it's the Incredible Hulk. Sorry.
Oh, right.
It's like good for a long time. Yeah.
But it's like, of course, Sir Davos on Game of Thrones, the most mortal character on that show, who stood up for what's his face's daughter being killed when her own dad had her killed. Of course, he'd be the one. Of course, he'd be the one to.
And everyone should know
it.
this.
Yeah,
you should know about the Onion Knight.
He's my favorite character on the show, so I was happy to see the actor was just as cool as the character was.
That is always a nice blessing.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. So I'm like, is that the guy I'm thinking of? Yeah. Okay. Good for him. That's awesome. Archangel, $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's very generous. I wish I had a soundbite, but I've got nothing. Any of you here of TYT having financial issues? Well, I stopped watching after the birthing person BS. I saw several videos this week, and Jenk jumps in around 4 minutes to ask you to subscribe as the industry is facing challenges. Yeah, I've seen a couple of videos that they did, and yeah, he put that in there. I don't know if that speaks to like a broader financial problem that they're having. They've been doing membership drives for a while, so just not knowing much, I would assume that this is just another membership drive. But you know, it wouldn't surprise me if they're going through difficulties, because it is true that like a lot of places are having a hard time right now. Just in terms of like YouTube views, I see a lot of channels struggling, not just in politics, but like even in gaming YouTubers that I watch and stuff. So it wouldn't necessarily surprise me, and I don't know if it's because of any of the birthing person BS. I'm sure that they did lose a lot of viewers because of that, but they're so massive, I don't know that would be like enough to really harm them. But I honestly don't know, so I can't say more than that. The next one here is from Miguel Salcedo, $5. Thank you so much. A few of progressive stuff happening in Arkansas. Gaza protests at Tom Cotton's AR offices. Okay. Renters organizing in Fayetteville. I wish Dems care. That's really cool, actually. Yeah, you know what? Even in these really, really red states, you do see a lot of grassroots activism at the local level, tenants unions and whatnot, unionization pushes. And that is something that I think people need to keep in mind, because it's easy to just like dismiss the state as a red state or blue state and think that your political situation is hopeless, but you really do have a lot more power in like your own town, like, you know, among your peers and whatnot. And that is something to keep in mind. Next one here. I think this is for David. Okay.
That's David's.
Let's see. That other one, David. Okay.
Looney Tunes 9000 with a super chat. Piece of shit Candy Crush robbed me of my money. Here's a few dollars. Wait, what? Candy Crush is still a thing? Are you being serious?
I don't see why it would stop. I was making so much money.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure.
Oh wait, hold on. Looney Tunes 9000 also resubscribed for 1 month at tier 1 on my Twitch. Subscriber for 5 months now. Thank you, Looney Tunes. Had to wait till payday to resub. Candy Crush robbed me of my fucking money. Here's my late resub to make it up. Left is best. Are you a Candy Crush player? Did you get scammed? Did they take the money without you playing? What's going on here? Is this something I should know about? Candy Crush scamming people, or are you just addicted? I need to know. I'm interested now.
We've got one from Bay Photo 199. How about we put portals outside sports stadiums? That would be interesting. I think that the worst possible result would be putting them outside of bars where a bunch of drunk people react to the portal. That'd be scary, but funny. But yeah, I kind of like the concept of the portal, but it's so funny to me and predictable how quickly they had to get taken down. I don't know if they're still taken down, but they were stopped because people were just getting naked. That's just funny to me.
Why take it down? Who gives a shit? Like, obviously, if someone breaks like local laws, just ticket someone for indecent exposure. Why take the thing down?
Yeah, I mean, the laws would still apply.
It seems stupid. Yeah. It seems stupid to take it down. I mean, it's a public good, a public art piece. Just let it be.
Yeah. People like it gives you a lot of insight into the way that people react when they know there's not going to be any repercussions. Like, you can do anything, and you're never going to see that person ever again. So what would you do? And a lot of people just want to show their asses or their titties. Or the Twin Towers, or they just want to fuck with each other, which is yeah. It's like we're all trolls a little bit, inside. Shami Sengupta with £5. Thank you, Shami. Palestinian Power Women. Shireen Abu Akleh, Hanan Ashrari, politician and scholar. Diana Butu, lawyer. Nadira Shalhoub Kevorkian, scholar, and Gigi and Bella Hadid. Yeah, I think that it's great to highlight, Palestinian celebrities and whatnot. I think that what CapriSunnPapi was saying was really important about like humanizing Palestinians. I don't want people to it's important that you follow what's going on in Gaza, but you shouldn't just see Palestinians getting killed. Like, fully humanize them, right? Like understand that, you know, they have interests, they're musicians and scholars, and, you know, see all aspects of their humanity. I think that's also important. I mean, you still can humanize somebody by seeing them suffering because you're able to empathize, but like just understanding that, like, you know, Palestinians are like all of us. They contribute to society. They're human beings with ambitions like you and I. I think that the more that we can get other Americans to see them that way, and more broadly speaking, Arabs in general and Muslims, I think the better off we'll be. But that's always been a problem when it comes to, you know, bigotry, is ignorance, right? Everybody's homophobic until, you know, their son comes out as gay. You know, everybody is Islamophobic until they have a friend who is from an Arab country. You know, it's just educating people is the way you combat that. Let me see where we're at here. Okay, so this next one's from me, from Zia Spots. Thank you, Zia, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Representative Chuck Edwards' assistant insulted my intelligence today because what I have to understand is Israel's being very careful, and Israel has killed fewer people than we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. Please. Yeah, if my representative told me that, I would feel like they were insulting my intelligence too. And I think that the reason why he said that to you is because the propaganda that these politicians have been using, and not just like with regard to this genocide, but 2014 Operation Protective Edge, when they slaughtered thousands of innocent civilians, they said the same stuff. So the propaganda has worked and they've not been able to adapt. So they're just saying the same thing and using the same talking points. But I mean, it's not working. So I think that he probably assumed you were naive or ignorant, but these politicians don't understand that people are plugged in and paying attention, and that shit's not going to work. So good for you, first of all, for talking to your representative, because having the courage to confront someone or just talk to them and ask them a question about something like this, that does take a lot of courage. You know, I know a lot of people have social anxiety. That's important. But yeah, I don't blame you for being insulted, because I would be really insulted. And the second that I have the opportunity, I will confront my representative as well. I tried to during a phone town hall that she did, but I couldn't get through. But thankfully, everybody else was insulting the shit out of her because of her shit take and her pro-Israel money. So yeah, good for everybody for, you know, standing up to them.
It's what's amazing to me is how many American politicians are willing to throw America under the bus suddenly for Israel's image. Like, this is amazing. Like, if you had said that, if you had brought up how many innocent civilians America killed in Iraq and Afghanistan any time before 6 months ago, they would say, "How dare you?
Mm-hmm.
What are you anti-America?" Now they're using that to defend Israel. Oh, we killed way more people than Israel. Let's be really careful compared to us.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that video of Lindsey Graham where he's like, if the ICC can do this to Israel, they can do this to American politicians, and people started clapping, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you applaud all you want." It's so good. Because yeah, you all should be in jail too. You all should be arrested. Fuck you.
I agree.
Oh, before we go to the next one, Lance, do you have any you want to read?
I have, I can do this in 2 seconds. They're very quick. I only have a couple. Monk Without a Cause, thank you so much for the gifted 5 memberships. No message, but that's very generous of you. Soul Life, thank you so much for the gifted membership. Omega Star with the $4.99. I like Hannibal Lecter for VP. I think you'll get that. That seems to be what everything's pointing towards. And then Son of a Newt, thanks for resubscribing. Credminder, thanks for the Prime. Hala Backboy, thank you. And finally, Smugustus Gloop, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. So generous of you. And it's all y'all. Take it away.
Nice. All right, this next one's for you, Matt.
Archangel Matt, if Emma loses the bet, make her get a tattoo of the Jets and Zach Wilson's face. All right, that sounds good. That sounds like the plan.
Rolando,
I actually was just a big fan of the idea of literally just like the teardrop tattoo.
Poor Emma. I hope for her sake that
she tried to backtrack, and then I pretended that she said that she had thrown in face tattoo as well, but that's not the case. She just said a very big tattoo, which saves her, because if she does need to get one, she could put it somewhere where, you know, it won't ruin her career.
Right. Rolando Capellea with 19.99. Thank you so much. That's a very generous super chat. I really appreciate that. Hi, Mike. It's upsetting how Bill Maher labels protesters as pro-terrorists instead of pro-Palestine, or pro-peace statehood. The same absurd argument was used against him and others in 2003 when he spoke out against the Iraq War and Bush administration. Yeah, that's a great point, actually. He was against the Iraq War and very, very vocal against Bush. And now he's just adopted all the same talking points. I hadn't thought about that. I was a little bit young when he was saying that, that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think that, history repeats itself. And you would think that we'd learn from Iraq and Vietnam, but we don't. You would think that we'd learn from previous civil rights battles when it comes to trans rights, like gay rights and civil rights, but we don't. We just keep making the same mistakes on every issue over and over again. And that's really upsetting. And it's fine if normal people, it's not fine if normal people are ignorant, but I give them more of a pass. Somebody like Bill Maher has a platform. So when he says something, millions of people hear it and parrot what he says. So that's why what he says is so bad. And it's why I think a lot of content creators like myself are kind of focusing a lot on Bill Maher lately, because he's spewing a lot of bullshit. And he's kind of seen as this person who's like, anti-establishment media truth teller, but he's just another hack. He's an anti-Trump Republican effectively at this point.
He's a libertarian. He wants to do drugs.
He hasn't been.
Right.
Yeah. He hasn't been even decent on the issues for a very long time. I don't even look at like Rolando says, like, it's upsetting how Bill Maher labels protesters as pro-terrorist instead of pro-peace statehood. To me, it's not even upsetting because I don't expect any better from Bill Maher. It's who he is. Yeah.
It just sucks. Mike has a point in that he could be a useful tool for people who want to push some, like the fact that he went really transphobic and started going super like, maybe your daughter's gay, maybe your daughter is gay and just doesn't need to have a dick cut off or weird things like that. Like that can be very useful to right wingers who want to say, look, even the liberals realize how extreme things have gotten. Even the liberals are speaking like that. That's why it kind of sucks that he's doing the Greg Gutfelds now on the Fox Newses, because it's like it justifies their own horrifying bigotry because the libs are saying the same thing. The left has lost its mind. The progressives have lost their mind. The AOCs and the Bernies have lost their mind. Look at them. So that's
and like on a broader scale, I worry because like a lot of leftists used to follow Bill Maher. I followed him as well. And so, as somebody starts to change, how many of that audience who's developed a parasocial relationship with him is going to follow him? And that's really what concerns me. And I hope that people question things.
A lot of leftists did, really? I was like, I got tuned out from him ever since that movie came out. And that was like in the 90s, Religiosity or whatever. When I saw that, I was so pissed off.
That wasn't
I was excited for it.
That wasn't the 90s.
Yeah, that was like
whenever that movie came out.
2008,
okay.
Yeah.
Whenever that movie came out, I was like, this dude fucking sucks.
He's always had some bad opinions, but for the most part, I always felt like he was pretty consistent. There were some issues with him. Like, I liked him for the atheism because as somebody who like has a lot of religious trauma growing up, I liked that he pulled no punches. But there was a point where it was like I had to stop and think, okay, he's not just being, an equal opportunist offender when it comes to religions. There's something more going on there. Like, this is a deeper, like, deep-seated bigotry against Arabs and Muslims.
Yeah, he's an Islamophobe. So is Richard Dawkins. So is Sam Harris. So is Christopher Hitchens.
And they're all transphobes now. Pro-Israel. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Richard Dawkins had his Humanist of the Year awards revoked because of his transphobia. All these people, they had so much influence and they just burned it by being hack dipshits. So, I hope that a lot of people who followed abandoned them,
You could tell they were always like, I never really liked a lot of these guys. Like, I even went through that slight, like, I wasn't as extreme as some people, but I did go, like, I liked that Religiosity movie when it came out. I went through that, like, early 2000s,
I liked it.
Like, Reddit atheist phase without being, like, as hateful or hateful at all, really. I was just, like, I was one of the people who was like, if you're religious, that's fine, but it's bullshit. Like, Yeah.
I read those motherfuckers like religiously. I was reading everything Hitchens wrote, and I was reading a lot of what Dawkins wrote, and I I was really into it. And
to me, a lot of that stuff always came off very a little bit xenophobic. Like they always focus specifically on Islam. Even I realized that. I was like, something's off here. Like how often you hear these guys talking about, and I'm saying this as someone who was raised in the Catholic Church. How often you hear about these guys talking about, what Catholic priest did to kids? You rarely. It's like
that's like to be fair, that's a big part of both Hitchens and Dawkins' books. In The God Delusion, God is Not Great, they go after Christian and Catholic religions a lot, and sexual abuse a lot. It's
how much of that is part of their public persona though? They don't go out there doing the speeches and they don't. It's in their book. Fine, you need a lot of material in a book, right? You need a lot of stuff to write about. But that's not what how often they out there doing speeches about that stuff. Back in
now Dawkins is talking about woke shit. He's talking about woke cancel culture and you can't talk in campuses. He's also like, you're right in that, like, Binder, I saw them more in his tweets, because Dawkins would tweet things out where he's like, I love hearing the sound of church bells in the morning so much better than Allahu Akbar, wouldn't you agree? And I'm like, well, okay, well, that's just like that speaks for itself right there. I mean,
yeah, he said he's culturally a Christian as well. Even though
I know, I saw that.
It's
too.
Like, God, like they've all just become like all the evangelicals that they used to shit talk. Now they're politically aligned with them. I mean, it's so wild.
Dawkins is a Zionist too, which is also pretty wild.
Right?
For a whole, religion poisons everything viewpoint. Like, but also I'm a Zionist. Yes.
Yeah. It turns out they just hate Muslims.
Yeah, they just hate Muslims.
Matt Claremont with a super chat. You may be small potatoes, but y'all are wrong about your impact. What you do has value because it's what we do collectively is that really matters. No, I appreciate that, and I do agree to an extent, but I do think, we've had these discussions. I remember back in the day when I was on the Majority Report in the office with Sam and Michael. And we would have these discussions about what people perceive what we do. And, some content creators might view themselves differently. But at the end of the day, I think at its most, we are providing entertainment. It might be educational, but I don't think you should put that on content creators to do to sort of, like, we shouldn't be the leaders of, I mean, if we do on our own, that's different. But as content creators, we shouldn't be like leading the charge or the ones that people go to. Our job is to number one, and this is true, I think, just because of how the internet has changed everything. I do think it's extremely important to be entertaining. Entertainment is an important form of any sort, whether you're just watching something mindless fun or you're educating people. Being entertaining is super important now more than ever because you need to retain people's focus. There's just too much out there. So even good activists and organizers need to be engaging. But I do think, like, yes, I take what we do seriously in that sense, but also I don't want people to look at us as if they're pinning their hopes on what we say and do, because we're not that.
Yeah, we shouldn't be viewed as like.
I mean, I'm just a nobody. Honestly, I'm a nobody.
Yeah. I don't want people to like try to prop us up as if we're like revolutionary leaders. We just have a podcast to talk about politics. I agree. It's largely entertainment. Or infotainment, if you will, although that's kind of a cringy word. But I think that they shouldn't treat any content creator as if they're a god. They shouldn't form parasocial relationships with them. I think there's a value in it, and it is important. But I think that it's not the end all be all. Like, if we had more power, then we would have much more, success at getting leftists elected into Congress and whatnot. But, we don't have that, because that power always comes from the bottom up and not the top down, even if it's, from a podcast host to the viewers. So That's kind of my take on it. Just to reiterate what Matt
you
said.
should hold content creators accountable, though. I'm very for calling people out on their shit. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, for
especially
sure.
the ones that have the massive egos. Do ego death. Make them take mushrooms and stuff.
Yeah. I'm down for that. I'm down for that. People need to check their egos. Yeah. Not me though, but everybody else does.
Awesome. I just want to add this though. Awesome Possum has added to the conversation and said Binder is the next Lenin. So
I could see that.
Thank you, Awesome Possum. Right. Hopefully, I could keep the hair though, because I want that. Is this for me? Or,
I'm pretty sure this is for you. Yeah.
No, it's not for me.
Oh, okay. Well, it must be for David Dole then, or Rebecca possibly. But
I'll read it. So Libu with a $20 super chat. Damn, $20 is a lot of money to not know where it went.
Who's it going to?
Danny Glover has always been pro-Palestine. I became aware of this about 20 years ago. He is awesome. Yeah, Danny Glover is one of those celebrities who's very political and has been progressive over the years.
He supported Bernie too.
He was one of the first guys and one of the biggest supporters too. Like went out there front and center, made sure everyone knew. Yeah,
he's a good guy.
Listen.
He was not too old for that shit.
I'm not saying there aren't good celebrities. I'm not saying there aren't good celebrities out there on this stuff. There definitely are. I'm just saying, like, don't depend on them to, like, because maybe Danny Glover and Mark Ruffalo won't disappoint you, but there will inevitably be someone that disappoints
Michael
you.
Rappaport will. Yeah.
Right.
Wait, what?
I mean, I actually,
I've been in a coma for the past 6 months.
I actually, little known fact, I actually did pin all my hopes and dreams on Michael Rappaport. And, it's been rough. I mean, I really depended on that guy.
You gotta
I really thought he was the answer to all our problems. He was gonna take us to the promised land. But I mean, he's in Israel now. But that's not what I thought he meant by that.
Okay, so I have one from Matt Claremont. $2. Thank you, Matt. Please give this to Lance to give to Rebecca. Thank you. Okay.
What? You donated to Mike, to donate to me, to donate to Rebecca? Just send it to Rebecca's Cash App.
They're doing the old school meme. They haven't done that in a while.
I was like, it'll be like 10 cents by the time it works through two people's transfer.
Yeah, right. Filtering it through. I think that's how did this start? I think it started when I was demonetized last year and I couldn't get super chats and people were like, hey, Matt, give this to Mike or something. Like that's where the memes. I think, right?
Okay,
it's been a while. Yeah.
Okay. I've been streaming for like 7 hours, 8 hours.
Well, it hasn't come up in a while though. To be fair, so okay. This one is from Shami Sengupta with £2. Thank you, Mike. What happened with the Oregon elections? I don't want to talk about it. It's so disappointing.
What happened? I know. Jayapal lost, right?
Yeah. So in the 3rd District of Oregon, Jayapal's sister was running. And that was for Earl Blumenauer's old seat. And AIPAC jumped in, and she was defeated. Also, basically,
it was from this race I did look at. It did seem like she lost by like a good amount. So I don't know. Like AIPAC is obviously, and it's not good that AIPAC got involved, and they're obviously touting this is a big victory. But I don't think they have that big of a impact based on like they definitely have an impact and turn elections. But it seems like it might not have been the best campaign either that she ran to lose by that amount. It was a pretty big. It wasn't close.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I'm not 100% sure. There were other disappointing elections. There was Jamie McLeod Skinner last year. She was the progressive that ousted Kurt Schrader. He's a right-wing Democrat. She was going up against a more establishment Democrat, like not the worst Democrat in the world, and lost. We had an uncommitted vote, but it wasn't on the ballot. It was kind of a write-in thing. It wasn't super big, but it was still there. My representative, Suzanne Bonamici, had a primary opponent, Jamil Ahmad, and he was a very small operation. He was just running on fuck Suzanne Bonamici. I'm against her sending money to Israel. I'm not going to do that. Got a really small percentage. Didn't expect him to win, of course, but like she got over 90%. So it was an ass whooping. All around, you know, we get this reputation of being a very blue and progressive state. But, you know, I think that a lot of the stuff with Multnomah County, the hysteria, the propaganda, I think is working on a lot of people, unfortunately.
Wait, didn't you guys lose your progressive DA? That's the big one, right? That's the big thing I saw.
In Multnomah County, there's this, basically Oregon is, according to a lot of people, it's just pure anarchy right now because we decriminalized all
just
drugs.
Like New York. Right, just like New York. Right.
Yeah. We decriminalized all drugs, and then all hell broke loose. People are shooting up in the streets and stuff like that. And it is true that like overdoses increased after we decriminalized drugs. But the problem is that you can't expect them to go down if you don't actually take money and put it substantially into like preventative programs. And also, if you have like an increasing unhoused crisis, people are going to do drugs because if you're on the streets, what else is there to do? You're miserable. And like, there's a lot of problems, and people pretend like the police have been defunded in Portland. That is not the case. There's a lot of protests. So there's also a protest going on at PSU right now, at Rafat Al-Awir Library. They renamed that. It was Miller Library. And so that's kind of leading to this anarchy narrative. But I mean, Portland has always been a very active city, you know, Black Lives Matter protests and whatnot. So there's a lot of propaganda going on that's working on the normies and on the liberals, unfortunately. And that's what's happening. I think part of the problem with these, the progressive DAs that are losing is that the cops are trying to sabotage them. They're not working with the DA's office. And so, you know, if there's this perception that cops can't do their job, then people turn against them. There's a really good post that somebody put on Twitter today about it. Actually, I'll pull it up really quick because I think it's important because it's happening not just in Portland, it's happening in other cities with progressive DAs. But I want to pull it up because, so this is from, it was shared by UAE Exotic Falconry and Finance, but basically they shared this post where it's like exactly the same thing happened in San Francisco a couple of years back. They elected a progressive DA, and there was a massive coordinated outcry campaign over how he was ruining the city, mostly run by landlords and local business wackos. Also, the police just flat out refused to cooperate or work with the DA's office. Like, they're refusing to execute search warrants, and then the same day turning around on TV and going, crime is on the rise because that soft on crime snowflake Boudin won't let us do our jobs. He then got recalled and replaced by an insane cop who tried to go so hard in the other direction. Overworked public defenders were actually telling clients not to take plea deals because they sucked and the cases were flimsy as hell and could easily get thrown out. Of course, the lesson libs took away from this was criminal justice reform is bad and unpopular, and we need to get tough on crime, and not that the civilian arm of the government actually has no real power over their own police forces anymore. And if things ever got to a point where they actually had to yank the chain, they probably wouldn't be able to effectively do it. So that's not a one-to-one to Portland, but it's pretty close based on my understanding of things. And yeah, it's unfortunate. Also, if you listen to local news in Portland, it is just like nonstop fear-mongering over crime and all that. So, I mean, it's always been this way. Crime is down across the board in the United States. There are some spikes in certain cities, but yeah, the propaganda works. So that's the takeaway, at least for like Multnomah County. The rest of the state still fucked up. There's still the whole greater Idaho movement. Never going to happen, but lots of Oregonians in rural areas, red districts want to join Idaho. That's not going to happen. You motherfuckers are staying. We're not going to let you leave. Sorry. No autonomy for you. No self-determination. Fuck you. But that's a way more like way longer than I wanted to talk about Oregon. But yeah, that's what happened in Oregon. We got our cheeks clapped. We did this one.
No. This is a follow up.
Oh, okay.
Looney Tunes 9000 with a $5 super chat. I'm addicted to Candy Crush. The game is a cash cow where you have to buy gold bars every time. No, don't do that. Don't waste your money on one of those games. There's got to be fun games out there where you don't got to spend money.
Get Tetris, Tetris 99. It's a puzzle game. That one's super fun.
That's crazy. What do you need to do Candy Crush? Do you really need to buy those power ups or whatever? I have no idea. I mean,
I don't know.
It's probably like most free to play games.
Yeah,
I play Fortnite, and that's a free game that you can pay for stuff that doesn't affect the gameplay, just like skins or whatever. And I do pay along with my son to do the battle pass, which is like to get like the skins and everything, which is like $8 a month or something. And we do that because we bond completing the quests and stuff. Like, that's it. Like, there are plenty of games out there that are free or do cost money, but like the normal amount of money you should pay for this stuff. Don't go poor playing these games, please. There's plenty of games out there.
Okay. This one's for you.
What's happening with my camera?
Danny Man with a super chat. 100% Terrence be cleaning up them white lines. I'm not going there. I don't know, but it could be. Who knows?
Everyone's got to self-medicate.
Right. Well, yeah. JHL FSC with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. In my opinion, it is so dangerous to frame it as white versus brown issue because Israelis very well may consider themselves white. However, I can assure you that Christian white nationalists in the U.S. do not. I don't think it's people. Also, there's a lot of the European or Ashkenazi Jewish people just make up like about half or less than half of the where Israelis are, their background, their ethnicity. The other is Jews from like elsewhere in the Middle East. So I think I do think whenever I see someone do that, it's a silly I agree, it's not really there's much better and more meaningful critiques and issues that you can frame this as. So yes, I agree. But also there are a number of Christian white nationalists who don't care if they're white. They agree with them because of what they're doing.
This one is from Chris Corcoran. $5.
There isn't. I should say really quick. There isn't like usually you can say like, oh, this is what the right's position on this is, and it's really not. It really is dependent on each individual right winger and what flavor of right wing they are. There are lots of little like neo-Nazis who are on this topic are being audibly anti-Israel and saying pro-Palestinian things because that's their position on. They view, they hate Jews more than anything, and then there's also just as many far right-wing white supremacists that are like, I am for Israel because I hate Muslims or Arabs more than anything. So there isn't like a single like monolith here of where the right stands.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Chris with $5. Thank you, Chris. I'm voting for Biden, but I'm not happy about it. As bad as Joe's been, we can't have Cheeto the Hutt back in office. I do not fault you for making that choice. It's a shit election. You got two shit options.
I'm not going to vote shame people in the other direction either.
Absolutely, right? I think that vote shaming period is bad.
Yeah,
I've been saying, listen, I'm not gonna this year. I'm not telling you who to vote for, what to vote. It's not worth my time. They don't deserve that. But at the same time, depending on where you are, take a look at what your options are and vote strategically. And that's all I'm gonna say. Vote strategically to do what you think is best. Don't vote based on emotion, and take into consideration where you are. If you need to vote somewhere where you feel good about yourself, look at those down ballot races. But in terms of top of the ticket, just vote strategically. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to mention any names.
Mm-hmm. We've got 5 gifted memberships to Matt Binder from Tokyo Hans.
Tokyo Hans, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Rolando Capayeha, I think that's how you pronounce your last name. I'm probably very wrong. Maybe you're the one person who, actually it's Capelleja, Matt. I'm sorry, but I tried my best. The New York Rangers are going down. Go Panthers. No, Rolando, no. Oh, man, I can't believe the Rangers blew it in that first game. I mean, they almost gave me a I almost was concerned when they were facing the Hurricanes. They were letting the Hurricanes, they almost blew their lead, just like the Knicks did. But we're just one game in. Rangers are right now, I believe, still the favorites to pull this off. Let's see.
Okay, we have quite a bit still, so we should probably speed up. I didn't realize how much more we have. I'm like, holy shit!
Oh, damn.
We don't have that much more, at least on my end.
All right, I'll take my leave then for this gentleman. Can continue,
oh wow, wait, I take that back. I didn't realize. I didn't realize all this came in. Wow.
Yeah, we have a lot.
Love you both. I'll see you soon.
Take care, man. Okay.
T-Types with a super chat. Member for 10 months. Thank you so much, T-Types. A membership super chat. You could solve the public nudity problem with a not safe for work portal and a booth next to the main one.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I think this is you.
Is this for me too?
Yeah.
Omega with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Omega. Hi, y'all. No anime today. I Am Sock and Vanguard posted how Anna went on a podcast and had a very why I left the left centric speech. Also, the Arabs pod should be on the show. Amazing pod. We just had on oh my god, what's his
CapriSunnPapi?
Thank you. Yes, I could.
It'd be cool to bring them all on. I'd be down with that.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, do like a crossover like we did with Like It or Not. I'm down for that for sure.
Oh, we should definitely do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I did not see the Anna podcast. I do know she went on Jesse Singal's podcast. Which,
yeah, I haven't listened to it, so I can't speak to it, so I won't say anything.
Right.
But
I've not seen it. Yeah. Not for me.
Oh, okay. I don't think it's for me, but I'll read it. Tony D with $2. Thank you. Student debt for some, not end mass murder. I think that's what they're trying to say. I agree with the spirit of the super chat. Thank you.
so I think maybe I mean this. It does look like someone might have had a medical issue as they were typing this.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I give you an A for effort, okay?
Let me try it. Student I'm lost on the second word. That's the problem. Student debt for some.
Student Debbie.
Not end. No, it's student debt for some. Not. I'm shocked I got that for.
Not ending mass murder.
Maybe that's it. Maybe ending mass. Maybe that is, but that doesn't make any sense. Student debt for some makes sense.
Student debt cancellation over mass murder. Which, I've got to say I agree with that. If that's what they're trying to say. I'm not 100% sure. But thank you, Tony, regardless.
It'd be great if we had like a call-in thing and Tony called in and was like, that's not what I was saying at all, guys. I literally, right there, student Debbie for some, not end, mass B, much. What's wrong with you guys?
Okay, so we got one from Paul, $5. Thank you, Paul.
Hold on. Justin Freakin rated me on Twitch. Thank you so much, Justin Freakin. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, Paul M. says a new Metroidvania hit Steam today called Venture into the Vile. The announced trailer is only 1 minute and 6 seconds long, and you guys would like it, I think. I've not heard of that, but I'll go ahead and check that out, Paul. Thanks for the recommendation. I appreciate that.
Into the Vile.
Venture into the Vile, okay. Next one.
JHLFSC with a super chat. As some of us approach middle-aged and these SOBs in power become our contemporaries, it is much easier to go tell them to go F themselves. Yeah, I know. It's funny because a lot of people say like the old adage was like, oh, you get less progressive and less radical as you get older. It's the opposite for me. I was, a decade and a half ago, one of those like,
sock them,
electoral politics, do what you can. I'm like completely like nothing fucking matters anymore.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If you go back and watch the Humanist Report, like the first year, I'm like this young, bright-eyed sockdem. And yeah, I've been beaten down over the years. I've aged politically and physically, and I'm much more radical the older I get.
I mean, I will say it has been an odd direction we've been going in the past couple of years. After 2016, and then the lead up to 2020, it did seem like we were headed in a certain direction, and it seems like we are at a major. We took 10 steps forward, and then 10 steps back, or maybe 11 steps back. It feels
we're in a weird place for sure, right? Like it's definitely an era that I think we'll all look back and recognize. 2016 to
what the fuck happened?
Whatever.
Yeah. What happened there?
Yeah, part of it is Trump. A lot of it is Trump, but it's also just like the breakdown of capitalism as well. And it's not just happening here; it's happening all across the the world too. But yeah, it's a fucked up era. I wish things were more normal, but you can wish in one hand and shit in the other, and see which one fills up faster.
The Synapsis with a membership super chat, member for 10 months. Thank you. Matt, did you notice your work was referenced on some more news last week? What? I did not.
Wow.
No. Someone also told me like a week ago too that Owen Jones, right? That's who that is, right?
Oh.
Yeah, Owen Jones, that he referenced me too. I need to please send me this stuff. I need to see it.
You were on Philip DeFranco a couple months ago. I saw it when I was watching.
I remember someone got me that clip. Yeah, that's awesome. Please send me the link. If you ever see anything I'm referenced in, send it my way. Because no, even then I want to see it. Especially
really? I don't want to see negatives.
Yeah. No.
Hey, Mike, you're referenced here. Fuck this Mike guy. Like, I don't want to see that shit.
Oh, I want to see it.
Oh, that's crazy. You're a masochist. Oh, I can't do it. I don't want to know what people are saying about me. Zero PE with $4.99. Thank you, Zero. I appreciate that. People were saying The View went harder on Charlemagne than they did on Maher after spewing his BS. Shakes my damn head. Oh, you know what? I haven't. So I've seen the whole View clip because I did a video on it with Bill Maher. I didn't watch the full Charlemagne clip. I watched David Dole's clip on it. Based on what I've seen, I would agree with that, which is pretty fucked up because one of these guys is super insightful and reasonable. The other is a complete fucking hack. So yeah, that wouldn't be much of a stretch. I actually agree with it, but I kind of need to watch the full Charlemagne segment to make that determination. But yeah, that's crazy. Let's see.
T-Types with a $10 super chat. Thank you, T-Types. Bill Maher's show, Politically Correct, I remember that show, was literally canceled from broadcast TV when he said of the 9/11 hijackers, although they're terrible people, you can't call them cowards. I mean, I get it. He was, he is obviously changed. He's still, even then though, I think it was coming through in some ways. Also, I actually disagree with that. To just sort of kamikaze thing is sort of not dealing with whatever's after. I think that's sort of cowardly in some ways. But yes, it was a joke. I get it. Yes.
Mm.
JHLFSC with a super chat. Maher and the entire new atheist movement just prove that religion itself can have little to nothing to do with the root cause of bigotry. Right. I mean, absolutely. I think that's a great point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I think this one is for me. Let me scroll back down. There we go. Lizzie Bennett with $5. Thank you, Lizzie. Bill Maher and these so-called atheists use the lack of belief to cover their Islamophobia. 100% correct. Yeah, they were criticizing them under the pretense of, no, I'm just being an equal opportunity offender. I criticize all religions. When in actuality, they really had an axe to grind with Muslims and Arabs. I think this is for you, I want to say.
Is it? Hold on. Yes, it is. T-Type's another super chat. Oh, T-Types. All these super chats confuse me. I thought maybe I read this already. Framing Mars' heel turn as succumbing to cultural fascism could be a good soundbite description of what's happened to him. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
honestly.
that's yeah. I think that's pretty yeah. This is also from me. Clarence the Liar with a super chat. Don't be modest. Elon Musk personally banned you from Twitter. Some of his fans would die for that kind of attention.
True.
Right, yes.
Do notice
I appreciate that. Yeah. Renee with a super chat. Greetings from the privately licensed Chilean health service. Had a chicken bone lodged in my throat. What? Are you okay, Renee? I hope you're all right.
Oh my God. Let's see. Thank you, Bayphoto, for becoming a member. Appreciate that.
Jacqueline Terrell with a super chat. I think people need to have a realistic expectation in 2024. Expect bad things to happen, and if something good happens, that is a plus. Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree with that.
I mean, I do think things could be bad. I think people should prepare to maybe, lose some, perhaps some progressive members of Congress. It's certainly a possibility. And then, of course, with Biden and Trump, I don't know how that's going to turn out. It's certainly a possibility. I think people need to just not pin your, everything on this. I mean, I know electoral politics are a big part of how this country and the world works. I'm not someone who's not going to pretend that's not the case. But I also think that, we are in a weird time right now where we need to just prepare ourselves for a worst case scenario and not let it completely, disengage us from what we need to do going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Foresto with a super chat. As a 2015-16 ex-Jimmy Dore watcher, be careful which streamers you attach yourself to. The excuses you have to make for them rarely age well. You were making excuses for Jimmy Dore just 8 years ago? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were, because I think that there was a good raw quality about him. He could anger people up, and if you can turn them in the right direction at the right people, he could be effective. But he decided to devolve into Alex Jones type stupidity, and the rest was history. But I wouldn't fault yourself or be too hard on yourself for defending people who change, because I mean, a lot of people change in this whole space. How many people have shifted from the left to the right? It's ridiculous. So I mean, you can't predict it. At this point, I'm numb to it, and anytime somebody has any inkling of grifterism, I'm just my red flags or my alarms are going off, because who knows? Some of it is probably authentic, some of it is not, but yeah. Bayphoto with $4.99. Thank you, Bayphoto. Realized I already subbed to Matt and Lance. Needed to add you too. Oh, and don't tell David I'm not subbed to him. Well, I appreciate that, Bayphoto. I saw that you just became a member. You should be able to send in member super chats. Just FYI, so you shouldn't have to double give money as well. But I really appreciate you becoming a member and appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. I think this is you.
T King with a super chat. Anna K recent video celebrating Oregon drug law swap. What is that? I don't know. But what is the drug law swap?
So we voted to decriminalize all drugs in, I think, 2020, and then the Oregon legislature undid that, and the governor signed it into law. It's actually really fucked up. This came after a spike in overdoses. But again, the goal of decriminalizing drugs was to not treat it as a crime. That doesn't mean that we don't want to help people and provide support to people with drug addictions. So the legislature, rather than actually putting that energy into addressing the drug problem, which is linked to poverty and homelessness and a lot of other issues, because, poverty is a socioeconomic issue. These things are all linked. They just were like, no, fuck it, we're gonna go backwards, which was really disappointing because we voted for that. We voted to decriminalize drugs, and they undid what we voted for. So I was really pissed off by that. To be fair, if it was going to go back on the ballot, it probably would have passed, and we would have recriminalized drugs. But at least give us the chance, because the legislature just took that away from us. I didn't see what Anna said on it, so I can't comment on it. But I was really disappointed by that because I think that, you know, when you do a big policy like this, it's a multifaceted issue. You can't just expect everything to change immediately. And the most important part in policymaking is like adjusting and adapting and figuring out what works, what doesn't. I know that criminalizing drugs hasn't helped, right? So recriminalizing drugs, I think that's just a step backwards and very misguided, but it's just a quick fix or ostensibly a quick fix because, you know, people see, oh, it seemingly didn't work. So fuck it, let's do that and just throw more cops at homeless people and people using drugs again. And I find it really disappointing. But you know, it's not surprising. Shami Sen Gupta, $4.99. Thank you so much. It wasn't Jayapal's campaign. Check out Ryan Grimm's reporting. APAC dirty tricks, including saying that she killed puppies. Oh, I haven't seen that, but goddamn, that's fucked up. Yeah, they did not want her to get elected to Congress because we're talking about the sister of a powerful progressive. I mean, Jayapal is the chair of the Progressive Congressional Caucus. I'm getting tired. So they really don't want her sister there.
I didn't even realize until you mentioned. That's how tired I am. Too.
Right, right, yeah.
Going along with it. I was like, oh,
progressional. It kind of it sounded right when I was saying it. No,
that's my member of Progressive.
But yeah, I'm disappointed. I didn't have high hopes. But yeah, it does suck to see Jayapal's sister get taken out by AIPAC. Again, like Matt was saying, I'm sure that there were other factors too, but it does suck that they were so invested, in this particular race. Like, stay out of our state, fuck off. And that's to any special interest, by the way. But I mean, I don't know. Every Oregonian, except for the liberals and conservatives, were well, I should say people in my bubble, the Oregonians that I know, weren't super happy.
Tokyo Hans with a super chat. Help! I'm addicted to super chat. I'm addicted to super chats. Right? Yes. If you're gonna have, no Candy Crush. Super chats. If you're gonna have an addiction, might as well make it super chats. Renee with a super chat. Palestinians come in all melanin. I don't know what Renee's. I get what you're trying to say, Renee. Foresto with a super chat. There was a poll of 30,000 Muslims that Kyle Kalinske talked about recently that found Biden was only getting 7% of their votes, with Jill Stein leading.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's always been that was always what I've been saying, the issue for Biden. It's not that, there's going to be this huge portion of his voters that don't vote for him. It's going to be a very specific demographic in very specific places that can cost him the election based on where they are, and that looking like it could be the case. And he'll have no one but himself to blame.
Yep. And he was trying to court Nikki Haley voters. Nikki Haley just endorsed Trump. So it seems like, once again, that strategy of courting, moderate, disillusioned Republicans. Yeah, it's just, it's so frustrating. And seeing news articles about like how Biden doesn't believe that he's doing as bad as the polling tells him, it makes me just want to like scream and bash my head against the wall. But I mean, he's always been a stubborn asshole, and that's not changing.
All right.
Pendulous Dragon 199. Thank you. Reading is fundamental. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. And last but not least, we have one from my dogs are goth. $10. Thank you. Mike, what brand is your blue cup and do you like it? I'm looking at getting a good insulated mug. Sorry for the shallow question. Oh, don't apologize. I actually don't know what brand it is. Let me see. Does it say Go Bottle? This logo, it's a Go Bottle. And yeah, I like it.
I was going to say Temu.
Yeah, it's
AliExpress.
I like it. It's not the most expensive. I got it from a Fred Meyer or a Kroger if you're on the East Coast. It was like $10, I think.
What are those? What are those expensive ones that were trendy for a hot minute? What were those again? Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. It was the pink Starbucks one that was like super viral, and people were spending like $60 for it, and on eBay it was selling for hundreds, right? I don't remember the name of the brand.
Stanley Cup. I remember
Okay.
now. Someone mentioned. I remember now because I'd be like, "Why do you want to talk about the Stanley Cup? The NHL playoffs aren't for quite a while." Like it's like, oh, wait, why would you? It was annoying to me because when I hear Stanley Cup, I think of the cup, the Stanley Cup.
Right. Yeah, I don't get the cup craze. This shit was cheap. This is like the cheapest one that I could find. I mean, I'm sure that those are great quality, but goddamn, I'm not spending $50 or $60 on a fucking cup. That's just that's not okay. We actually have another one. This one's for you.
Oh, the Synapsis with a super chat for me. Thank you. It was in the bots scams, the internet and you video, and it was your piece about bots on Twitter. The piece is on the screen and in the reference list. Oh, hold on. Let me write that down so I remember. Bots scams, the internet and you. Interesting. Thank you so much. I'm going to check this out later.
Oh, and we have a super sticker for you.
Oh, thank you so much for the super sticker, Django Fett. Let me see. It's the 8-bit hippo chomping on a 1UP logo. Thank you so
love
much.
that.
Appreciate it. And over on Twitch. Oh, that's it from Twitch. I read my Twitch. Thank you to Justin Freakin for the raid again. Ooh, excuse me. Do you have anything on Twitch?
Checking now. Let's see. I don't have anything on Twitch. Do we want to raid someone?
Yeah, let's raid someone. Look, even on like a short day, we still went like more than half the show super chats. We're at over 2.5 hours. I mean, like it's not the marathon we did last week, but we were like over 4 hours. But I just got another one.
Oh, did you?
I was exhausted. Yeah, I got another one.
I was so tired.
Yes, me too. JHLFSC with another super chat. I don't understand why some alleged leftists think it will be fascism instead of democracy that will give the left a second bite at the apple. No, I don't think that. I think that's wrongheaded. I'm just not willing to specifically promote someone who's doing what they're doing right now. But I'm not telling people not to vote for him. In fact, I'm saying strategically do what you need to do. But I'm not going to go out and promote that individual. People know what they need to do if they listen to me in this show, and based on where they are, how that factors into things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that too.
And everyone knows I'm no fan of third parties, so I mean, I think it's pretty clear what
Yeah. Okay, so who should we rate on?
Oh, wait, you got another super chat too.
Oh my goodness.
I got the super chat, but it says for you. Spasticus with a super chat. Mike, thank you for keeping us informed about the state of Portland. I grew up in the southeast side suburbs. Name dropping Fred Meyers, FTW for the win.
Yeah.
And then Renee just gave me another super chat. Because politicians are asking por qué no las dos. And what were you going to say, Mike, before I cut you off to that last super chat?
I was going to say that I always say Kroger instead of Fred Meyers because nobody knows what the fuck a Fred Meyers is. I except like people in the West Coast or Oregon, but everywhere else it's Kroger. It's owned by Kroger, but it's Fred Meyers here. And so I remember before on the internet said Fred Meyers and somebody was like, what the fuck is a Fred Meyers? But it's basically like, a big store. It's like think Target, but like prices are 10 times higher than anything at Target. You're paying a Fred Meyer tax. It's very fucking expensive. Okay. Oh, so yeah, Dom says he's never seen a Fred Meyers in CA. And yeah, I don't know. They're all over Oregon. There's a shit ton of Fred Meyers. There's like there's one in North Portland. There's one like 20 minutes. Actually, there's like 2 in North Portland, like 10 minutes apart. There's a shit ton of Fred Meyers here. Anyways, okay.
Wait, hold on. I got another super chat. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
They're trying to make us stay.
Here we go.
T-Types with the super chat. I think these so-called alleged leftists may already see elements of fascism in the actions of the current administration. Yes, I do. I mean, listen, I don't think there's anyone on the left who wants Donald Trump. But this time around, we're being asked to, if we don't want to see what's happening now, we got to vote for the guy who's in charge right now. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I do still think strategically, if you're in a swing state, you need to do what you need to do to stop Donald Trump, because I do think on everything else he will be worse. But yeah, I listen, I've said it before. I voted for Hillary in 2016, no problem. I voted for Joe Biden in 2020, no problem. I again, strategically, I'm in New York, so I can vote differently than what someone in a swing state might have to do.
Yeah, I voted for Jill Stein in 2016. I voted for Biden in 2020. And this time, I don't know who to vote for, probably Jill Stein or Cornel West. It's between the two of them. It doesn't really matter. Just a protest vote. I'm in Oregon. But I absolutely do not begrudge anyone for voting for Joe Biden in a swing state. I would very much rethink my my protest vote if I was not in Oregon. I'll put it that way. So I agree with Matt. Sock D with $2. Thank you. That is all. Okay, thank you. Okay, so
the thing too, I hate to continue and give time for people to give more super chats, but the thing here too is like we don't even have like the argument about the Supreme Court this time around, because like will it be bad if obviously Trump wins and then Clarence Thomas and Alito retire, which they probably would do if Trump won and he got 2 more picks? Of course it would be bad, but I mean, they're not going to retire if Biden wins. The court's probably not going anywhere in the next 4 years if Biden wins, unless someone drops dead, which obviously you should consider as well. But the makeup of the Supreme Court wouldn't change at all. Even if one conservative was no longer on the, it just wouldn't change. We are that far, it's that far gone. What needs to be done is radical action to expand the court, which Democrats are not willing to do. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how you even argue that. I mean, it's,
I don't understand. Like the former Republican, I don't understand this. Are you saying I'm currently a Republican? I was never a Republican. I've never voted for a Republican in my life. It's just as funny. I think maybe they're just trolling, but I don't know. Okay, do we want to raid? Is she still on? Cosmopolitics.
Yeah, let's raid Cosmopolitics. Sounds good to me. Is she on? They're doing the power report, right?
I'm not sure.
Hold on, let me. Because sometimes they just like air it. You know what I mean? I think.
Okay.
Right? They're not always live, but I don't know. Are they live right now?
She says hanging out with Dan and Bam. That's what the little subtitle says.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's raid Cosmopolitics.
Well, thanks everybody for sticking with us.
Say what says, this isn't a super chat, but I just want to read this. Say what says, nope, I'm all in on Biden. I'm in a swing state and not going to risk it. I mean, I don't know if you're responding to someone else, but you don't have to say nope to us. This is exactly what we're very strongly alluding to without saying it.
Right. It's right. Not a crazy decision.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty clear I just can't bring myself to do the work for a guy who's doing what he's doing right now. But I also think the other guy would be worse on every other issue.
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
real quick, we got one last one.
Is this for me or you? Oh, it's for me. JHL FSC with the super chat. The choices are we can either have a G side or a G side plus ethnic cleansing and a theocracy
Genocide.
in the U.S. Oh, you can't say it. Can you not say it? The choices are we can either have a genocide or a genocide plus ethnic cleansing and a theocracy in the U.S. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly the way to put it. Yes. Right.
Great choices, America. But so I'm ready to raid. I don't know if you are.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm pressing the start button. Just give me that. I forgot to press it. My bad. So give me that countdown time to.
Oh, it automatically rated because it waited too long.
My bad.
Oh no.
I should be able to raid in just 1, 2. All right, I'm raiding.
Alrighty, I'll close the stream.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you all for watching, everyone.